Page 3. Exercise C. Photo story. Read and listen to a conversation between two participants at the meeting in Bangkok.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Teresa Segovia from the Santiago office. Savateka.
Where did you learn the Y? You're Chilean, aren't you?
Yes, I am, but I have a friend in Chile from Thailand.
Well, sawadee-ka. Nice to meet you, Miss Segovia. I'm Surat Likpai.
No need to be so formal. Please call me Terry.
And please, call me Surat.
Okay. Surat, do you mind my asking you a question about that, though?
Not at all.
Is it customary in Thailand for people to be on a first-name basis?
Well, at company meetings in English, always. In other situations, though, people tend to be a little more formal. It's probably best to watch what others do. You know what they say, when in Rome...
Do as the Romans do.
Page 4. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to two people meeting and making small talk.
Good morning. Beautiful day, isn't it?
It really is. By the way, I'm Kazuko Toshinaga.
I'm Jane Quitt. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Do you mind if I call you Kazuko?
Absolutely not. Please do.
And please call me Jane.
Ways to ask about proper address.
Do you mind if I call you Kazuko? Would it be rude to call you Kazuko? What would you like to be called? How do you prefer to be addressed? Do you use Ms. or Mrs.?
Page 5. Pronunciation. Exercise A. Rising and falling intonation of tag questions. Exercise A. Rising intonation usually indicates that the speaker is confirming the correctness of information. Read and listen. Exercise B. Falling intonation usually indicates that the speaker expects the listener to agree. Read and listen. 1.
People use first names here, don't they?
People use first names here, don't they?
2.
That meeting was great, wasn't it?
That meeting was great, wasn't it?
3.
It's a beautiful day for a walk, isn't it?
It's a beautiful day for a walk, isn't it?
Page 7. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to someone describing a busy schedule.
So how was your day?
Unbelievably busy. By 9 o'clock, I had taken the placement test, registered for class, and bought my books.
That's a lot to do before 9.
That was nothing. At 10, I had a meeting across town. But by 1, I had already arrived back at school for my class.
What did you do about lunch?
Well, when I got to class, I hadn't eaten yet, so I just got a snack.
Wow. I'll bet you're pretty hungry now.
Intensifiers.
Unbelievably. Incredibly. Really. So. Pretty.
Page 8. Before you listen. Exercise A. Vocabulary. Manners and etiquette. Read and listen.
Etiquette.
Cultural literacy.
Table manners.
Punctuality.
Impolite.
Offensive.
Customary.
Taboo.
Page 8. Listening comprehension. Exercise A. Listen for main ideas. Look at the subjects on the chart. Listen to 3 calls from a radio show. Check the subjects that are discussed during each call. Exercise B. Summarize. Listen again. On a separate sheet of paper, take notes about the calls. Then, with a partner, write a summary of each call. Use the vocabulary. Call 1. Arturo and Jetrine.
Good morning, world. This is Millicent McKay in Brussels with today's Worldwide Cultural Literacy Update. If you're new to the program, here's the format. In the studio, 3 people take your phone calls and answer your questions about etiquette in their countries. Today's guests are Jetrine from Thailand, Nadia from Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, and Sujit from Nepal. We're all first name here, so let me welcome Jetrine, Nadia, and Sujit.
Sawadee krap, Millicent. Good morning. I'm Jetrine from Thailand.
Hello, it's nice to be with you. I'm Nadia from Dubai.
And good morning, Millicent, Jetrine and Nadia. Sujit here from Nepal.
Okay, let's get started. I see our first caller is on the line. Hello, Arturo from Montevideo. You're on the air.
Good morning. Actually, good evening. It's 10:30 at night here in Montevideo. But here's my question. I'm traveling on business to Thailand next month, and I'll be working with Thai business managers from my company. What should I know?
Hello, Arturo. Jetrine here. Just a couple of things. First, a taboo. Don't touch anyone's head, not even a child's.
Well, I don't ordinarily touch people's heads, but if you don't mind my asking, what's wrong with touching someone's head?
Well, we believe the head is where the person's soul lives, so it's very disrespectful and offensive to touch a person's head.
Any other tips?
Well, when you are seated, be sure not to cross your legs in such a way that others can see the bottom of your foot.
Actually, I knew that. But don't worry, it's good to be reminded. I do have one more specific question before I hang up.
Sure. What's that?
In Uruguay, it's customary to shake hands, and I know Thai people greet each other with a Y. Will it seem impolite for a foreigner to do the Y? And what happens if I don't do it right? Will that be offensive?
Absolutely not. Just put the palms of your hands together on your chest and bow slightly. Say Sawadee krap. For the women listening, you say Sawadee ka. You will warm our hearts with that. Don't worry if you don't do it exactly the way Thais do it, and don't worry about the pronunciation. Have a wonderful trip to Thailand. Try to do some sightseeing and taste our wonderful food.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jetrine and Arturo, for a good lesson in cultural literacy. Let's take a break and then another call.
Call 2. Hiroko and Nadia.
Welcome back, listeners. This is Millicent McKay with a worldwide town meeting answering all your questions about do's and taboos around the world. Let's say hello to Hiroko from Osaka, Japan. Hiroko, you're on the air.
Thank you, Millicent. My husband and I are going to Dubai. He's a banker and has business there, but I'm going with him as a tourist. I'm very interested in all kinds of culture, and I understand Dubai is very different from Japan. I have 3 questions.
Hello, Hiroko. Nadia on the line.
Thanks, Nadia. If I'm alone, can I walk on the street or drive a car? When we went to Saudi Arabia, women were not permitted to go out alone or drive.
Absolutely. As a woman traveler, you will have no difficulty getting around, even if you are alone. You can drive, and as long as you dress modestly, you can wear whatever you like.
Second question. I don't speak any Arabic.
Again, no problem. As you know, Arabic is the official language of Dubai, but English is commonly used in tourism and commerce.
You speak very good English, Nadia. Where did you learn it?
I actually am an English teacher. I learned my English in the United States, at the University of Wisconsin.
And my last question. I'm an amateur photographer. Will I be able to take pictures in Dubai?
Well, yes, but you should know that it is considered offensive to take pictures of Muslim women here.
Oh, I'm glad I asked. What about pictures of men?
Well, yes, just be sure to ask permission.
I don't know how to thank you. I'm really looking forward to the trip.
We'll be right back with our final call.
Call 3. Javier and Sujit.
I think we have time for one more caller. Javier from Mexico City, welcome to the show. How can we help you?
I'm going to Nepal next month on an international trek. I will be staying with a Nepalese family for a weekend, and I want to be sure I don't offend anyone. Mexico is very different from Nepal.
Well, let's ask Sujit to comment.
Hi, Javier. Let's talk about table manners. First of all, Nepalese don't usually use spoons, forks, or knives.
No? So how do the people eat? How will I eat?
Well, your host will eat with their right hand, never the left hand, but I'm sure they'll provide you with spoons and forks. If they're welcoming foreigners into their home, they'll want you to be comfortable. But remember one important taboo. Beef is strictly forbidden as a food in both Hindu and Buddhist homes. Our typical food, however, is wonderful and very flavorful and healthy.
That's great, because I'm Mexican, and we have great food in Mexico too. I love good food when I travel. Sujit, I'm very interested in culture, but I don't know much about Hinduism and Buddhism. What can you tell me?
Well, if you visit a Hindu temple or a Buddhist shrine, you must remove your shoes, or if you prefer, you can wear open sandals. Check first. In some Hindu temples, non-Hindus can't enter. And very important, don't take leather things near the temple. And if you want to take a picture, be sure to ask before using your camera.
Thanks so much. I feel very prepared now.
My pleasure.
Well, that's all we have time for today. Until next time, this is Millicent McKay in Brussels, reminding you that in today's world, cultural literacy is an essential survival skill.
Page 10. Reading.
Today, Global Culture is interviewing Eugenia Hartley of Jackson, Mississippi in the U.S. about changes to culture. Ms. Hartley, culture has changed a bit since you were growing up in the 40s, hasn't it?
Oh, definitely. And maybe more so for me than for others because Jackson is in the South, which was pretty socially conservative when I was a young girl.
Please tell us about some of the changes you have personally experienced.
My heavens. Well, the New South is so different from the Old South in a lot of good ways, as everyone knows. But since you ask me personally, it would probably be dating customs, the way young people talk to their elders, table manners.
Okay. How have those things changed?
Well, for example, when I was growing up, the family dinner hour was the one time in the day when the family sat down together, and it was a special time. Today, that's changed. In many families, there is no dinner hour. Kids eat snacks or fast food all day. Moms are out in the workforce and don't have time to make a proper meal. And there are so many activities that it seems like no one has time. In my day, children were more respectful and quiet at the table. We spoke when we were spoken to. We didn't put our elbows on the table, and we dressed nicely. No one came to the dinner table in shorts or jeans the way they do today.
That is different, isn't it? You mentioned dating. How has that changed?
Well, today, I see boys and girls on dates at the mall. They can't be more than 12 or 13 years old. I wasn't allowed to go out on a proper date until I was 16. And when I finally was allowed to date, my parents didn't let me go out with a boy they hadn't already met. Oh, and I had a definite curfew. I had to be home by 11. If I came in late, I was grounded for at least a month. It was a little different for my brother, though. I guess there was a bit of a double standard. He could go out on dates when he was 16, but his curfew wasn't as strict as mine. He was allowed to stay out until midnight.
And you mentioned the way young people addressed their elders. How has that changed?
Well, today you hear teens, even children, calling adults by their first names. We had to address adults as sir or ma'am, and we always use Mr. and Mrs. I suppose that sounds a little old-fashioned today, doesn't it?
Maybe so. Thanks so much, Miss Hartley, for an interesting interview.
Formal dinner etiquette. It is very discourteous for a guest to be late. Arrive at least 5 minutes before the hour set for the dinner. If for some unavoidable reason you cannot arrive on time, telephone the hostess and explain the reason to her. Etiquette only requires that she wait for 15 minutes before beginning the meal. If it has been impossible for you to notify her and she has started the meal, go to her, offer apologies, and take your place at the table as quickly as possible. Seating. The hostess leads the female guests into the dining room. The host and the male guests follow. The hostess then tells her guests where to sit. She must always have the seating arrangement planned in advance in order to avoid confusion and delay. Each person stands casually behind his chair until the hostess starts to take her seat. The man helps his dinner partner to be seated and also helps move her chair as she rises. Each person moves to the left of the chair to be seated and also rises from the left. The meal. At a small dinner party, do not start to eat until all guests are served. At a large dinner party, you may start to eat as soon as those near you have been served. Do not eat too fast. Do not talk while you have food in your mouth, and keep the mouth closed while you chew your food. Elbows should not be put on the table when you are eating. However, between courses at a restaurant, if you cannot hear your companion, it is permissible to lean forward on your elbows. If silver is dropped on the floor, leave it there. If an accident happens at the table, apologize briefly to your hostess. The hostess continues to eat as long as her guests do. When all have finished, she rises from the table and the others follow. Departing. If you have no dinner partner, push your chair from the table by taking hold of each side of the seat of the chair. Don't rest your hands or arms on the table to push yourself up. It is not necessary to remain longer than 30 minutes after a dinner if the invitation does not include the entire evening. However, one should avoid appearing in a hurry to leave.
Page 12. Exercise A. Listen to the conversations between people introducing themselves. Check the statement that correctly paraphrases the main idea. Conversation 1.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Ana Montoya.
Good morning, Dr. Montoya.
Please call me Ana.
Conversation 2.
Hi, I'm Larry Lockhart.
Hi, I'm Winnie Denman. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. By the way, how would you prefer to be addressed?
Mrs. Denman would be fine.
Conversation 3.
Excuse me, I'm Sofia Perez. I'm looking for Martin Page.
Certainly, Ms. Perez. I'm Ramona Wright. Martin's right over there. Come, I'll introduce you.
Thanks. And would it be rude if I called him Martin?
No, that's fine. And while you're at it, feel free to call me Ramona.
And please call me Sofia.
Conversation 4.
Hi, I'm Robert Morse, the new English instructor.
Oh, hello, Dr. Morse. I'm Laura Lane, the department secretary. I'll take you to your class. By the way, how would you like to be introduced to the class?
Well, what's the custom here?
We're pretty informal. The policy is generally first name. We think it makes for a more conversational English class. Do you mind?
Not at all. Robert's fine with me.
Conversation 5.
Hello, I'm Mayumi Sato. I'm pre-registered for the conference.
Certainly. Let me make up your name badge. Do you prefer Ms. or Mrs.?
Actually, neither. I use doctor.
Of course, Dr. Sato. Here you go.
Thanks.
Top-notch pop song. It's a great day for love.
Wherever you go, there are things you should know. So be aware of the customs and views, all the do's and taboos of people there. stranger in a sea of new faces. Now we're making small talk on a first name basis. It's a great day for love, isn't it? Aren't you the one I was hoping to find? It's a great day for love, isn't it? By the time you said hello, I had already made up my mind. Wherever you stay, be sure to obey the golden rules. And before you relax, brush up on the facts you learned at school. Try to be polite and always be sure to get some friendly advice on proper etiquette. It's a great day for love, isn't it? Aren't you the one I was hoping to find? It's a great day for love, isn't it? By the time you said hello, I had already made up my mind. And when you smiled at me and I fell in love, the sun had just appeared in the sky above. You know how much I care, don't you? And you'll always be there, won't you? It's a great day for love, isn't it? Aren't you the one I was hoping to find? It's a great day for love, isn't it? By the time you said hello, I had already made up my mind.
Page 15. Photo story. Read and listen to someone with a dental emergency during a trip.
I need to see a dentist as soon as possible. I think it's an emergency. I was wondering if you might be able to recommend someone who speaks English.
Let me check. Actually, there is one not far from here. Would you like me to make an appointment for you?
If you could, thanks. I'm in a lot of pain.
So, I hear you're from overseas.
From Ecuador. Thanks for fitting me in.
Luckily, I had a cancellation. So, what brings you in today?
Well, this tooth is killing me.
When did it first begin to hurt?
It's been bothering me since last night.
Let's have a look. Open wide.
Ah.
Well, let's take an x-ray and see what's going on.
Page 16. Vocabulary.
Describing.
Symptoms. Exercise A. Read and listen.
I feel dizzy. I feel nauseous. I feel weak. I feel short of breath.
I've been vomiting. I've been coughing. I've been sneezing. I've been wheezing.
I have pain in my chest. I have pain in my hip. I have pain in my ribs. I have pain in my stomach.
Page 16. Exercise C. Listen and check the symptoms each patient describes. Listen again. If the patient has pain, write where it is. Conversation 1.
What seems to be the problem today, Mrs. Gillis?
Well, I've been feeling pretty dizzy for the last few days. I have to lie down all the time. I feel really weak and I have so little energy. I can't even make myself lunch or dinner.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And I can hardly walk upstairs. I'm so short of breath whenever I try.
Any pain?
Funny you should ask. I have pain in my shoulder, too.
Conversation 2.
Is there anything bothering you today, Mr. Baker?
Well, when I woke up this morning, I felt terrible. I had this pain in the back of my neck, and I thought I'd better get in to see the doctor right away.
Have you been coughing?
A lot, actually. I've had a bad cold for over a week now.
That might explain the pain you've been feeling in your neck. I'm going to give you something for that cold.
Conversation 3.
The doctor will be right with you, Miss Rice. Have you not been feeling well?
Not great, actually, and I've been sneezing like crazy.
Oh, that's too bad.
Anyway, today my back is killing me, so I thought, that's it. I'd better come in.
Come, I'll take you in to see the doctor.
Conversation 4.
You're here to see Dr. Fox?
Yes, I am. I've been really sick.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Have you been nauseous?
Oh, yeah.
Any vomiting?
Yes. I'm afraid I've been throwing up everything I eat.
Any dizziness?
Not really, just nauseousness.
Well, Dr. Fox will be with you in a moment.
Conversation 5.
You're Ms. Perlman?
Yes, I am.
The doctor will be with you soon. Can I ask you a few questions?
Okay.
What brings you in today?
Well, I've been wheezing a lot since yesterday. I don't know what's wrong. It's really annoying.
Are you allergic to anything?
Not that I can think of.
Any other symptoms?
Not really.
Conversation 6.
Mr. Rashid?
That's me.
Hello, Mr. Rashid. The doctor will see you in just a moment. Are you in a lot of pain?
Well, my hip has been bothering me a lot for the past 2 days. It hurts all the time.
Did you fall or have an accident?
Not that I can remember.
Any pain anywhere else? In your knees? Your elbows?
No.
Page 16. Pronunciation. Intonation of lists. Exercise A. Use rising intonation on each item before the last item in a list. Use falling intonation on the last item. Read and listen. 1.
I feel weak and dizzy.
2.
I've been sneezing, coughing, and wheezing.
3.
I have pain in my neck, my shoulders, my back, and my hip.
Page 17. Conversation model. Read and listen to someone showing concern and offering help.
I'm sorry, but I don't think I can come to the meeting this morning.
Really? Is there anything wrong?
Well, actually, I don't feel very well. I've been coughing since last night, and I feel a little short of breath.
Oh no, that must be awful. Would you like me to call a doctor?
That's really nice of you, but I'm sure I'll be fine.
Then call me later and let me know how you feel, okay?
I will. Thanks.
Page 18. Vocabulary. Medical procedures. Exercise A. Read and listen.
A checkup. An examination.
A shot. An injection.
An EKG. An electrocardiogram.
An X-ray.
A blood test.
Page 19. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to someone making a medical appointment.
Hello, Dr. Starr's office. Can I help you?
Hello, this is Ann Webb. I need to make an appointment for a blood test. I wonder if I might be able to come in early next week.
Let's see if I can fit you in. How about Tuesday?
Could I come in the morning?
Let me check. Would you be able to be here at 10 o'clock?
That would be perfect.
We'll see you then.
Thanks. I really appreciate it.
Page 20. Reading. Read and listen.
Consider the choices. Conventional medicine. The beginnings of conventional medicine can be traced back to the 5th century BCE in ancient Greece. It is based on the scientific study of the human body and illness. In the last century, there has been great progress in what doctors have been able to do with modern surgery and new medications. These scientific advances have made conventional medicine the method many people choose first when they need medical treatment. Homeopathy. Homeopathy was founded in the late 18th century in Germany. It is a low-cost system of natural medicine used by hundreds of millions of people worldwide. In homeopathy, a patient's symptoms are treated with remedies that cause similar symptoms. The remedy is taken in very diluted form, 1 part remedy to 1 trillion parts water. Herbal therapy. Herbal medicine, often taken as teas or pills, has been practiced for thousands of years in almost all cultures around the world. In fact, many conventional medicines were discovered by scientists studying traditional uses of herbs for medical purposes. The World Health Organization claims that 80% of the world's population uses some form of herbal therapy for their regular health care. Acupuncture. Acupuncture originated in China over 5,000 years ago. Today, it is used worldwide for a variety of problems. Acupuncture needles are inserted at certain points on the body to relieve pain and/or restore health. Many believe acupuncture may be effective in helping people stop smoking as well. Spiritual healing. Also known as faith healing or mind and body connection, various forms of spiritual healing exist around the world. This is a form of healing that uses the mind or religious faith to treat illness. A number of conventional doctors say that when they have not been able to help a patient, spiritual healing just may work.
Page 22. Before you listen. Exercise A. Vocabulary. Medications. Read and listen.
A painkiller. Cold tablets. A nasal spray. A decongestant. Eye drops. An antihistamine.
Cough medicine. An antibiotic. An antacid. An ointment. Vitamins.
Medicine label information.
Dosage. Warnings. Side effects. A prescription.
Page 22. Page 23. Listening comprehension. Exercise A.
Listen to activate vocabulary.
Listen to each conversation with a doctor. Use the medications vocabulary above and the symptoms vocabulary from page 16 to complete the chart for each patient. Exercise B. Listen for details. Listen again. Complete the information about each patient. Conversation 1.
Ms. Yilmaz, I'm Dr. Lee. I understand you're here on business?
That's right. I'm from Turkey, actually.
And you are not feeling well?
No, I'm afraid not. My back has been killing me for several days now.
Are you taking anything?
Just some painkillers, but they're not really helping.
Let me give you a prescription for a stronger painkiller. I think you might find it very helpful.
Does it have any side effects?
Well, for very few patients, it causes nausea or vomiting, but that's very rare. I really don't think you'll have to worry. Call me if you feel at all nauseous, okay?
Okay, thanks.
The dosage is 1 tablet in the morning, 1 in the evening with food. The pharmacist will give you a full set of instructions when you pick up your prescription.
Thank you, Dr. Lee.
Conversation 2.
Lucy Fernandez? I'm Dr. Hirano.
Thanks so much for fitting me in.
My pleasure. Where are you from?
Mexico. I'm here on business.
Oh, you're a long way from home. What can I do for you today?
Well, I've got a splitting headache, and I've been kind of nauseous since Monday.
You must feel terrible. Are you currently taking any medication?
I've been taking an antacid and a painkiller.
Are you allergic to any medications?
I think I might be allergic to penicillin, but I'm not sure.
Well, that's okay. Keep taking the painkiller for that headache, but you can stop taking the antacid. I'm going to give you a prescription for your nausea. Take it twice a day.
Will there be any side effects?
It might make you a little tired during the day, but chances are you'll be fine. Call me if you don't feel better.
Conversation 3.
Dr. Benson? Hi, I'm Mark Go.
Hello, Mr. Go. I hear you're not from around here.
Right. I'm visiting from Hong Kong for a few weeks.
You've come a long way to see a doctor. Well, what can I do for you today?
My eyes have been really red for about a week now.
Have you been using any medication?
Well, I got some eye drops at the drugstore, but they aren't helping.
For your condition, I think you might want something stronger. I'm going to give you a prescription for an eye ointment. Use it twice a day and wash your eyes several times a day.
Okay.
It's a strong medication, but there aren't any side effects you need to worry about. If you keep your eyes clean, the ointment should do the trick.
Thanks.
Will you still be here next week? I'd like you to come back to see me.
Yes, I'll still be here.
Good. You can make an appointment at the front desk on your way out.
Thanks, Doctor.
Page 24. Review. Exercise A. Listen to each conversation and complete the statements. Then listen again to check your answers. Conversation 1.
So, what's bothering you today?
Well, I've had some pain in my tooth. Here, on the right side.
Let's have a look. It looks like you lost a filling.
Really? My regular dentist just put that in a month ago.
Have you eaten anything hard or chewy or crunchy lately?
Uh-oh. I think that's it. It was probably that candy I ate 2 days ago.
Well, how about we take care of that right now, okay?
Thanks.
Conversation 2.
Thanks for fitting me in. I've been sneezing like crazy all day. I thought I'd better come in and get something.
Allergies?
Mm-hmm. I get them every spring at this time. I don't know if it's the trees or the flowers or what, but my eyes get red, I sneeze.
Well, I can give you a prescription to take care of that. Clear 8 is a very good antihistamine.
Thanks. I'd really appreciate that.
Conversation 3.
You must be in a lot of pain.
I am. My leg really hurts a lot.
You said you were skiing?
Yes. I guess I went a little too fast.
Well, don't worry about that now. Let's get you into radiology and then we'll know if you've broken anything or not. Have you ever been x-rayed before?
Just for my teeth.
Conversation 4.
You look like you're in a lot of pain.
Yes. My back's been killing me for several days now. I've been taking painkillers several times a day.
And that hasn't helped?
Not really. I still can't sit. I can't stand. All I can do is lie down.
Well, I could write you a prescription for a stronger medication if you like. That might help.
I don't know. Everyone says acupuncture is good for pain. Do you think I should try that?
Sometimes it helps. I could give you a referral if you like.
I'd like that. I need to try something else.
Top-notch pop song, X-Ray of My Heart. To read the lyrics and sing along, turn to the end of this book.
Thanks for fitting me in. This heart is killing me.
Ooh, that must hurt. Are you in a lot of pain?
Yes, I thought I'd better see someone right away.
It might be an emergency. Could you try to explain?
Give me something to keep me from falling apart. Doctor, won't you please take an x-ray of my heart? You know I'm here on business, and today I saw a guy.
Why don't you have a seat while I do some simple tests?
Thanks, as I was saying, he walked by without a word.
So that's what's bothering you. Just go home and get some rest.
Give me something to keep me from falling apart. Doctor, won't you please take an x-ray of my heart? The minute that I saw him, I felt weak in the knees.
Are you dizzy, short of breath? Does it hurt when you sneeze?
Yes, I have all those symptoms and a pain in my chest.
Well, love at first sight can have painful side effects.
Now I might not be able to go to work today. Could I get a prescription for some kind of medicine?
Well, let's have a look now. You might have to heal yourself or try another treatment for the kind of pain you're in.
Give me something to keep me from falling apart. Doctor, won't you please take an x-ray of my heart?
Page 27. Exercise C. Photo story. Read and listen to some customers placing orders at a copy shop.
What can I do for you today, Miss Krause?
I need to get these documents copied ASAP. Think I could get 300 copies done by 11?
Oh, I'm afraid that might be difficult. I've got a lot of orders to complete this morning.
Sorry, I know this is last minute, but it's really urgent.
Well, you're a good customer. Let me see what I can do.
Thanks a million. You're a lifesaver.
Excuse me. Hello, happy copy.
Hi, Sam. Ken Lee here.
Hi, Mr. Lee. How can I help you today?
Well, I'm going through my to-do list, and I just realized I need to get 50 30-page sales binders made up for our meeting next week. Any chance I could get them done by first thing tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning? No sweat. Can you get the documents to me before noon?
Absolutely. I owe you one, Sam.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Miss Krause.
Well, I see that you've got a lot on your plate today. I won't keep you any longer.
Don't worry, Miss Krause. We'll get your order done on time.
Should I give you a call later?
No need for that. Come at 11 and I'll have your documents ready.
Thanks, Sam.
Page 28. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to someone asking for a favor.
Do you think I could borrow your car this afternoon? Mine's at the repair shop, and I need to pick up my mom at the airport.
Gee, I'm sorry, but I'm going to need it. I have a doctor's appointment.
No problem. I'll think of something.
Hey, I have an idea. Maybe you could get Jack to lend you his car.
Good idea. I'll go ask him.
Ways to indicate acceptance.
No problem. I understand. No worries. Don't worry about it.
Page 29. Exercise D.
Listen to activate grammar.
Listen to the conversations. Complete each statement using the causative get. Conversation 1.
Jody, aren't you going to the 10 o'clock meeting?
Oh, hi, Jim. Actually, I can't. I have to go to the post office.
The post office? Now?
Well, it's actually pretty urgent.
Look, Jody, it's nice that you're so self-motivated, but this meeting's important. The assistant can go for you. That's what he's here for.
You're right. I'll go speak with him now.
Conversation 2.
Uh-oh.
What's wrong, Bill?
I asked the waiter for the check, but I forgot my wallet. And all these important clients are at the table.
No problem. Susan has a company credit card. She can pay.
Excellent idea. I'll ask her.
Conversation 3.
Good morning, Steve. How was the party last night?
Morning, Tina. It was pretty nice, actually. I had a good time.
Was Marty there?
He was.
Did he sing for everyone?
We asked him to sing, but he said he had a cold.
Too bad. He's a great singer.
Conversation 4.
Look at this ad. What a beauty.
The L10? I hear that's a great car.
I'd like to get one.
Cool. You should.
But I don't have the money right now.
Can your parents lend you the money?
You mean I should try to borrow some money from my parents?
Maybe. I mean, it can't hurt to ask.
You're right. I'll do that.
Conversation 5.
That was a great movie, wasn't it? Hilarious. I'm glad we went.
Hey, let's get some coffee, okay?
Oh, I can't. I need to pick the kids up from the mall.
What about your husband? Can't he pick them up?
You know, maybe he can. I'll give him a call right now.
Conversation 6.
I can't believe we're in Paris.
I know. Look, there's the Eiffel Tower. Let's take a selfie.
Actually, I have a better idea. Excuse me, monsieur, do you speak English?
Yes, I do. How can I help you?
Could you do us a favor and take our picture?
My pleasure. In front of the Eiffel Tower? Perfect.
Page 30. Vocabulary. Services. Exercise A. Read and listen. 1,
Dry clean a suit.
2,
Repair shoes.
3,
Frame a picture.
4,
Deliver a package.
5,
Lengthen a skirt. Shorten a skirt.
6,
Print a sign.
7.
Copy a report.
Page 31. Exercise C.
Listen to activate vocabulary and grammar.
Listen to the conversations. Complete each statement with the item and the service. Use passive causatives. Conversation 1.
Look at these pants. They're way too short.
You know you can get someone to lengthen them.
Do you know a good tailor?
You should take them to Kisco's. They do good work there.
Thanks. I'll try them.
Conversation 2.
Hey, Carrie, got a second?
Sure, Matt. Are you guys all ready for the big meeting?
Almost. I still have to get someone to make 200 copies of the agenda. Do you know a good place for that?
Just take them to Al's Printing. They're right across the street, and they're pretty fast. I bet they can have them done in an hour.
Thanks, Carrie. You're a lifesaver.
Conversation 3.
Where'd you take that photo?
Oh, this one? I took that last year when we were in the south of France.
You really should get someone to frame it. It's really nice.
I'm thinking about it. I like it too.
Conversation 4.
Hey, that's a nice sweater.
Thanks. But it's got a little tomato sauce on it right here. Do you know a good dry cleaner?
Well, you could try Downtown Cleaners. That's who I use, and I think they're pretty good.
Thanks for the recommendation.
Conversation 5.
Okay, smile. Say cheese.
Cheese!
Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
Well, my camera isn't working right.
That's too bad. You can probably have someone repair it.
That's what I'm thinking.
You can try Hoyt Camera. I've heard they're very good. You could probably have it repaired there the same day.
Okay, I will.
Conversation 6.
The Mumbai office is gonna need this package ASAP.
You mean it hasn't been sent out yet?
No, the medications just came in yesterday.
Then you should use IDP services. If they pick up the package this morning, they can get it to Mumbai really fast.
Good idea.
Conversation 7.
Hey, Lucio. How's your new restaurant doing?
Business is good, actually. Thanks for asking.
That's great. What's that?
This? It's my new menu. I need to get someone to print 50 of them for me. Do you know a good place for that?
Well, there's a place on Main Street. I think it's called Harrison's. They say it's the best.
Thanks.
Page 31. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to someone requesting express service.
Could I have this jacket dry cleaned by tomorrow?
Tomorrow? That might be difficult.
I'm sorry, but it's pretty urgent. My friend is getting married this weekend.
Well, I'll see what I can do, but it won't be ready until after 4.
I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Page 32. Reading. Read and listen.
How can I help you? They say the customer is always right. That may not be completely true, but a smart business treats customers as though they are. Whether you work for a business or have your own, remember this secret. Customers don't really buy services and products. They buy solutions and relationships. Here's how to keep them coming back. Don't procrastinate. Make sure you get things done on time. Don't waste your customers' valuable time by making them wait for service. Giving customers what they want now is key to your success, and it should be at the top of your to-do list. The business that gets the job done efficiently and fast is the one that customers will come back to. Be really reliable. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If a problem keeps you from doing it, apologize and promise to find a solution. However, avoid making promises you won't be able to keep. Treat customers right by being honest, and they will recommend you to their colleagues, friends, and family. Stand by your products and services. The good workmanship and attention that go into your high-quality product, excellent service, or reasonable prices will be appreciated. No one wants a product that falls apart or doesn't work. If that happens, take responsibility and arrange to repair it or replace it. Be extremely friendly and as well as a good listener. Be sure your customers feel respected and heard. Pay attention to complaints as well as praise. Always try to be helpful. Sometimes it's difficult to answer a customer's question or fulfill a request. Instead of, "I don't know," say, "I may not have the answer right now, but I'll find out." Instead of, "I don't have time right now," say, "I'll make time." A can-do attitude, even under stress, assures customers that you will treat them professionally and that you are ready and willing to help. Above all, make your customers feel important and valued, and always thank them for their business.
Reading.
The Tailors of Hong Kong. The famous Hong Kong 24-hour suit is a thing of the past, but tailors there are still reliable. You can trust them if they say they'll have your clothes custom made in just a few days. Today, prices are quite reasonable, not as low as they used to be, but they're often about what you'd pay for a ready-made garment back home. The difference, of course, is that a tailor-made garment should fit you perfectly. Most tailors are extremely professional. The workmanship and quality of the better established shops rival even those of London's Savile Row, but at less than half the price. Tailors in Hong Kong are very helpful and are willing to make almost any garment you want. Most offer a wide range of fabrics from which to choose, from cotton and linen to very fine wools, cashmere, and silk. You should allow 3 to 5 days to have a garment custom made with at least 2 or 3 fittings. You will pay a deposit of about 50% up front. But if you are not satisfied with the finished product, you don't have to accept it. Your only expense will be the deposit. With more than 2,500 tailoring establishments in Hong Kong, it shouldn't be any problem finding one. Some of the most famous are located in hotel arcades and shopping complexes, but the more upscale the location, the higher the prices. Once you've had something custom made and your tailor has your measurements, you will more than likely be able to order additional clothing online, even after you've returned home.
Page 33. Pronunciation. Emphatic stress to express enthusiasm. Read and listen.
Finally, read each statement on your own, using emphatic stress.
1,
They're really reliable.
2,
They're incredibly helpful.
3,
They're extremely professional.
4.
They're so reasonable.
Page 34. Before you listen. Exercise A. Vocabulary. Planning an event. Read and listen. 1,
Send out the announcements.
2,
Set up the room.
3,
Set up the projector.
4,
Put up the signs.
5,
Check the sound system.
6,
A microphone. A mic.
7,
A handheld mic.
8,
A lapel mic.
9,
Hand out the agenda.
10,
A handout.
11,
Introduce the speaker. Introduce the guest.
12.
A podium.
Page 34. Listening comprehension. Exercise A.
Listen to confirm.
Listen to the conversations and check the items and equipment they mention. Exercise B. Listen for main ideas. Listen again. Use the vocabulary and the causative to complete the statements. Conversation 1.
Hello, Brian. Ginny, how are you doing?
I'm good, Ginny. What's up?
Listen, I want to get the preparations moving for the talks at next month's event. There are a few things we need to have done.
Great. How can I help?
Well, I've asked someone to create an announcement, but we need someone to send them out. Do you think you could find someone to do that?
No problem. That's easy. I'll get my brothers to do it. Is there anything else you need?
Well, I've also asked someone to print some signs for the event. Could you ask some people to help put up the signs that morning?
Sure. I'll talk to some of my friends. I'm sure they'll be willing to do it.
Conversation 2.
Hello, Myra. Ginny.
Hey, Gin. How are ya?
Great. Hey, thanks for volunteering to help with the event next month. As our tech person, there are a few things you should put in your to-do list for the morning of the event.
Okay.
We'll need someone to check the sound system in each room before 8:30. Is that okay?
Of course. I'll ask some of my colleagues to do that. They're really good.
And for the talks, we'll want each speaker to be able to choose a handheld mic or a lapel mic, okay? We don't want them to have to use the mic at the podium if they don't want to.
Understood. I'll make sure that they set up in each room.
And of course, we'll need someone to set up the projectors in each room, too.
Don't worry. They can do that, too.
Conversation 3.
Good morning, Lester. Ginny here.
Hi, Ginny.
Lester, I understand you already have a team of people ready to help out on the day of the event.
That's right. I've got 6 volunteers already.
Great. We'll need to get the chairs in each room set up before 8:30, about the same time that Myra's people will be checking the sound system.
Okay. How many people do you think there'll be in each room?
It would be great if you could have each room set up for about 30 to 40 people.
Will do.
And we'll need someone at the front table to hand out the agendas. And someone at the door to each room to give people any handouts for the talks.
No problem.
And Lester, do you think someone can introduce each speaker as well?
I may need to get a few more volunteers, but that should be no problem.
Good. They'll have to be free to stand at the podium to do that, so it can't be the same person that's handing things out.
Right. We'll work that out.
Thanks, Lester.
Page 36. Review. Exercise A. Listen to each conversation. Then complete the statements using the passive causative with have. Listen again if necessary. Conversation 1.
I'd like to have this dress dry cleaned.
Okay. It'll be ready on Monday.
Actually, it's kind of urgent. Any chance I could have it by Friday?
I'll see what I can do.
Conversation 2.
I need to have these pants shortened. Can I get them back by Wednesday?
I don't know. We're pretty busy this week.
I'd really appreciate it.
We'll try, but they might not be ready until Thursday, okay?
Conversation 3.
I'd like to have a sign printed. Does it take long to do?
Just one sign? Not too long. You can have it by Thursday.
Gee, could I have it done a little sooner? I'm in a bit of a rush.
How about Wednesday? Is that okay?
That would be perfect. Thanks a million.
Conversation 4.
Can you do a rush job for me?
That depends. What do you need to have done?
I just need to have this picture framed. Can I have it by 4?
Today? I'm sorry, that wouldn't be possible. But I could have it for you first thing in the morning.
Okay, that would be great.
Top-notch pop song, I'll Get Back to You.
Your camera isn't working right. It needs a few repairs. You make me ship it and now you want to get someone to wash your fancy shirts and dry them when they're wet. Come a little closer, let me whisper in your ear. Is my message getting across to you loud and clear? You're always making plans. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me think it over and I'll get back to you.
You want to get your suit dry cleaned. You want to get someone to shorten your new pair of jeans and call you when they're done. I guess I'll have them print a sign and hang it on your shelf with 4 small words in one big line. Just do it yourself. Let me tell you what this song is really all about. I'm getting tired of waiting while you figure it out. I've heard all your demands, but I have a life too. Let me think it over and I'll get back to you.
I'm really reliable, incredibly fast, extremely helpful from first to last. Let me see what I can do day after day. Everybody knows I always do what I say. You're always making plans. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me think it over and I'll get back to you.
Page 38. Exercise A. Vocabulary.
Genres of books.
Read and listen. Fiction.
A novel. A mystery. A thriller. A romance novel. A science fiction book. A short story.
Nonfiction.
A biography. An autobiography. A travel book. A memoir. A self-help book.
Page 39. Exercise C. Photo story. Read and listen to a conversation between 2 friends at a bookstore.
Hey, Sophie. I've never run into you here before.
Lynn, good to see you. Looking for anything special?
No, I'm just browsing. How about you?
I'm just picking up some gardening magazines for my mom. She can't get enough of them. So, anything interesting?
This one doesn't look bad. It's a biography of Helen Keller. What about you? Are you reading anything good these days?
Well, I've got a new mystery on my night table, but I can't seem to get into it. I guess mysteries just aren't my thing.
I know what you mean. They put me to sleep.
Well, you're a big reader. I wonder if you could recommend something for me.
Have you read the new John Grisham thriller?
No, I haven't. I didn't know he had a new book out.
Well, I can't put it down. It's a real page-turner.
Thanks for the tip. Do you think I could borrow it when you're done with it?
Of course. If you can wait till the end of the week, I'd be happy to lend it to you.
Page 40. Vocabulary. Ways to describe a book. Exercise A. Read and listen.
A page-turner. A cliffhanger. A bestseller. A fast read. Hard to follow. Trash.
Page 41. Pronunciation. Sentence stress in short answers with so. Exercise A. Read and listen. Notice the stress on the verb in short answers with so. 1.
Are there a lot of characters in the story?
I think so.
2.
Has she read that book yet?
I don't think so.
3.
Do you think this thriller will be good?
I hope so.
4.
Does the story have a happy ending?
I believe so.
Page 41. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to someone recommending a book.
Have you read anything interesting lately?
Actually, I'm reading a thriller called Don't Close Your Eyes.
I've never heard of that one. Is it any good?
Oh, I think it's a great book, and it's a cliffhanger. I highly recommend it.
Well, do you think I could borrow it when you're done? I love cliffhangers.
Sure. I doubt I'll finish it before next week, though.
No problem. I can wait.
Page 42. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to someone asking about an article.
Is that this month's car magazine?
Yes, it is.
Could you tell me where you bought it? I can't find it anywhere.
At the newsstand across the street. But I think it's sold out.
Too bad. There's an article in there about SUVs. I'm dying to read it.
I can understand why. It was really interesting. Listen, take my copy. I'm done with it.
Are you sure?
Definitely.
Page 44. Before you listen. Exercise A. Vocabulary. Some ways to enjoy reading. Read and listen.
Curl up with a book.
Read aloud to someone. Listen to audiobooks. Do puzzles.
Read articles online. Skim through a newspaper. Read electronic books. Read e-books.
Page 44. Listening comprehension. Exercise A. Listen to take notes. Listen and take notes to answer these questions about each speaker. Listen again if necessary.
Betty's song. There's nothing I like more than curling up with a good book. I like all kinds of literature, novels, general fiction, short stories. I also read a lot of books written by Japanese authors, translated into Chinese. My favorite author, though, is Chang Ailing. She is a very famous author from China. Her work has inspired women for many generations. I like to read whenever I have a bit of quiet time, like early in the morning or during lunch hour, and at night when I'm lying in bed. I usually read in a small room next to my living room. It's like a small library with good natural sunlight. I really don't enjoy reading in coffee shops or other public places. I need a quiet space to read. For me, reading is a spiritual experience that gives me great personal satisfaction. Television and movies can't do that. I can't understand why anyone doesn't enjoy reading. I can't think of any better way to relax, to forget the pressure of each day.
Silvio Ferrante. I really like to keep up with the news. I get the paper delivered on weekends, so that's when I enjoy reading it most. Pretty much from the first to the last page. During the week, I enjoy skimming through the newspaper in a cafe. But the weekend is the best time. There's nothing like lying in bed with the paper, a good cup of coffee, and some croissants or toast. Or, when the weather's nice, sitting in the garden and reading about what's going on in the world. And, well, I have to admit, one of my favorite places to read is in the, bathroom. I can spend a good half hour there reading the paper. Aside from newspapers, I really enjoy stopping at newsstands and spending about 5 or 10 minutes browsing through magazines. And of course, I also enjoy going to bookshops and checking out the latest novels, particularly historical novels. I just can't seem to read enough of those.
Melissa White. I don't really consider myself to be a big reader because I don't actually read a lot of books. Most of the reading I do is either on the internet or in newspapers. I can't start my day without skimming through the newspaper during breakfast, checking out what's going on in local news or maybe what's going on in business. Mainly, I just look for the articles that look interesting, and I save them for later when I get back home from work. Then I like to curl up on the sofa with my newspaper and a good cup of tea. The truth is, I don't have a lot of time for reading books, and I don't have a lot of interest in reading them. Once in a while, I'll read one of the bestsellers or a good romance novel. But I spend a lot more time surfing the internet, checking out my favorite blogs. That's where I get my information from, and my entertainment. It works for me.
Page 46. Reading. Read and listen.
Reading habits in transition. Most experts agree that the Internet has fundamentally changed how we read, think, and remember things. However, whether this has had a positive or negative impact is still unknown. How has the Internet changed the way we read? There is evidence that we are reading fewer books, particularly nonfiction. Let's say you need medical advice, cooking instructions, or biographical information. Who wants to buy a 300-page book when you can find a 300-word article on the Internet about the same subject? It's easier to read, it's free, and it's a lot faster. However, we are, in fact, reading a lot more overall. In addition to our offline reading, we read online throughout the day as we check our smartphones, surf the Internet, visit social media sites, and catch up on our email. We also do a lot more skimming and scanning on the Internet than we do when we read physical books or periodicals, such as magazines and newspapers. As we surf the Internet, we skim quickly for topics that interest us and scan for the specific information we need. A search engine puts millions of possibilities at our fingertips. How has the Internet changed how we think and remember? Before there was an Internet, people spent a lot of time taking notes in libraries so they could remember and recall information easily. Today, when you can use a search engine to take you to what you're looking for in an instant, that kind of concentration isn't as necessary. You can simply bookmark any page and return to it easily. However, many argue that online information sources often contain errors and can't be trusted, so we need to be more careful when we use them. Some wonder if the Internet has made it more difficult to concentrate on one task without getting distracted by other things. We are constantly interrupted by updates from social media sites and email messages. We follow links to other websites where we find more links to other websites and jump from topic to topic. We are also bombarded with a lot of junk. For example, news feeds about celebrities, pop-up ads about products we don't want or need, and warnings about viruses. Some consider what we read on the Internet to be trash compared to traditional offline reading, while others see many advantages in the reading we do on the Internet. Some argue that reading on the Internet is like exercise for the brain, making it easier for us to cope with distractions and think clearly as we learn to make choices that work for us. In a recent study, 81% of those surveyed agreed that our use of the Internet has actually made us smarter. If you are a digital native, that is, someone who grew up with the Internet, that's very good news indeed.
Reading.
Comics, trash or treasure. In Japan, they're known as manga. In Latin America, historietas or historias en cuadrinos. In Italy, fumetti. Some people call them graphic novels. But no matter what you call them, comics are a favorite source of reading pleasure for millions in many parts of the world. In case you're wondering how popular they are, the best-selling comic in the U.S. sells about 4.5 million copies a year. Mexico's comic titles sell over 7 million copies a week. But Japan is by far the leading publisher of comics in the world. Manga account for nearly 40% of all the books and magazines published in Japan each year. Ever since comics first appeared, there have been people who have criticized them. In the 1940s and 50s, many people believed that comics were immoral and that they caused bad behavior among young people. Even today, many question whether young people should read them at all. They argue that reading comics encourages bad reading habits. In more recent years, some comics have been criticized for including violence and sexual content. On the other hand, some educators see comics as a way to get teenagers to choose reading instead of television and video games. And because of the art, a number of educators have argued that comics are a great way to get children to think creatively. Some recent research has suggested that the combination of visuals and text in comics may be one reason young people handle computers and related software so easily. In many places, comics have been a convenient way to communicate social or political information. For example, in the 1990s, comics were used by the Brazilian Health Ministry to communicate information about AIDS. In Japan, the Education Ministry calls comics a part of Japan's national culture, recognized and highly regarded abroad. Comics are increasingly being used for educational purposes, and many publishers there see them as a useful way of teaching history and other subjects. No matter how you view them, comics remain a guilty pleasure for millions worldwide.
Page 48. Review. Exercise A. Listen to each conversation and write the type of book each person is discussing. Listen again and decide if the person likes the book. Explain your answer. Conversation 1.
I'm reading a new mystery by Smithson.
Really? Is it any good?
Oh, it's a real cliffhanger. I can't wait to get to the ending.
Then don't tell me how it ends. I might want to read it too.
I'll let you borrow it.
Thanks.
Conversation 2.
How's that travel book you're reading?
Well, apparently it's a bestseller.
Oh yeah? Must be good.
Actually, I can't get into it. It's not a fast read at all.
Oh.
Conversation 3.
When are you gonna finish that romance novel?
Pretty soon. To tell the truth, it's really trash. But you know something? I just can't put it down.
I don't get it. Why are you reading it if it's trash?
I can't help it. It's a page-turner. I've really been getting into it.
Conversation 4.
I'm reading an autobiography by a famous Italian artist.
Wow, that must be interesting.
I guess it should be, but I'm just not really into it.
Don't you like autobiographies?
Sure, I love them. Just not this one.
Top-notch pop song, A True Life Story.
The story of our lives is a real page-turner, and we both know what it's all about. It's a fast read, but I'm a slow learner, and I wanna see how it all turns out. It's a true life story, I can't put it down. If you wanna know who's in it, just look around. The story of our lives is a real cliffhanger. It's hard to follow, but boy, does it pack a thrill. A roller coaster ride of love and anger. And if you don't write it, baby, then I will. It's a true life story, I can't put it down. If you wanna know who's in it, just look around. You can what you might find. It's not a poem or a romance novel. It's not a memoir or a self-help book. If that's what you like, baby, please don't bother. If you want the truth, take another look. It's a true life story, I can't put it down. If you wanna know who's in it, just look around. It's a true life story, I can't put it down. If you wanna know who's in it, just look around.
Unit 5, Natural Disasters. Page 51. Exercise B. Photo story. Read and listen to a conversation about a natural disaster.
Oh my goodness, take a look at this.
Why? What's going on?
There's this enormous flood in Slovakia. Look at these people on the roof. The water's up to the second floor. And look at these cars. I sure hope there was no one in them.
That sounds horrendous. Any word on casualties?
It says no reports of deaths or injuries so far, but it's in the middle of a city, for goodness sake. The death toll could end up being huge.
And can you imagine the property damage?
Well, they estimate almost 50% of the houses in town are underwater already.
What a disaster.
I wonder how this flood compares to the one they had in New Orleans a few years back. Remember that?
You bet I do. How could anyone forget? And that flooded almost half the city, too.
Let's turn on CNN. They usually have breaking news about stuff like this.
Page 52. Pronunciation. Direct and indirect speech. Rhythm. Exercise A. Notice the rhythm of sentences in direct and indirect speech. Read and listen.
He said, "Be home before midnight." He said to be home before midnight.
I told your parents, get a flu shot at the clinic. I told your parents to get a flu shot at the clinic.
Page 53. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to someone conveying a message.
I'm on the phone with your parents. Would you like to say hello?
I would, but I'm running late.
Anything you'd like me to tell them?
Yes, please tell them to turn on the TV. There's a storm on the way.
Will do.
Page 54. Vocabulary. Severe weather and other natural disasters. Exercise A. Read and listen.
A tornado.
A hurricane. A typhoon.
A flood.
A landslide.
A drought.
Page 54. Exercise B. Listen to infer. Listen to the news. Write the kind of event the report describes. Exercise C. Listen to confirm information. Listen again. After each report, say if the statement is true or false. Explain your answers. Report 1.
Brazil farmers report the loss of dairy and beef cattle. There has been no measurable rainfall in 3 months, and the dry land cannot feed their animals.
Report 2.
The rain hasn't stopped in a week, and people nearest the river are moving out of their houses because the roads are covered in water.
Report 3.
The storm's winds reached a record 150 kilometers per hour, and the torrential rains are expected to continue for at least 6 more hours. Trees are down and areas nearest the beaches are heavily damaged.
Report 4.
A fast-moving, dark, funnel-shaped cloud is making its way across the eastern side of town, knocking down trees. Roofs on many houses have blown off. Residents are urged to immediately go underground and take cover until the danger has passed.
Page 55. Conversation Model. Exercise A. Read and listen to a conversation about the news.
What's going on in the news today?
Well, the Times says there was a terrible storm in the south.
Really?
Yes, it says lots of houses were destroyed.
What a shame.
But there haven't been any deaths.
Thank goodness for that.
Reactions to news. What a shame. Thank goodness for that.
Page 56. Before you read. Exercise A. Vocabulary. Adjectives of severity. Read and listen.
Mild, moderate, severe, deadly, catastrophic.
Page 56. Reading. Read and listen.
Earthquakes. Earthquakes are among the deadliest natural disasters, causing the largest numbers of casualties, the highest death tolls, and the greatest destruction. In 1556 in China, the deadliest earthquake in history killed 830,000 people. But many other earthquakes have caused the deaths of more than 200,000 people, and it is not unusual, even in modern times, for an earthquake death toll to reach 20,000 to 30,000 people, with hundreds of thousands left homeless and with countless injured. The floodwaters of the 2004 tsunami in Sumatra, which killed over 200,000 people, were caused by a catastrophic earthquake. There are 4 factors that affect the casualty rate of earthquakes: magnitude, location, quality of construction of buildings, and timing. Magnitude. The magnitude, or strength, of an earthquake is measured on the Richter scale, ranging from 1 to 10, with 10 being the greatest. Earthquakes over 6 on the Richter scale are often deadly, and those over 8 are generally catastrophic, causing terrible damage. Location. A severe earthquake that is located far from population centers does not cause the same damage as a less severe one that occurs in the middle of a city. As an example, in 1960, the strongest earthquake ever recorded, 9.5 magnitude on the Richter scale, struck in the Pacific Ocean near the Chilean coastline, destroying buildings, killing over 2,000, and injuring another 3,000 in regional cities near the coast. The location of this earthquake, far away from a population center, however, prevented it from being catastrophic, with hundreds of thousands of deaths. Quality of construction. Modern building construction techniques can lessen the death toll and economic impact of a moderate earthquake that would otherwise cause severe destruction of older-style buildings. In 2010, a terrible earthquake in Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti, caused the destruction of a tremendous number of the city's buildings, mostly due to poor construction. In contrast, an even stronger earthquake later that year in Chile caused less destruction because of that country's use of earthquake-resistant construction. Timing. Finally, the time of occurrence of an earthquake can affect the number of deaths and casualties. Earthquakes that occur in the night, when people are indoors, usually cause a greater death toll than ones that occur when people are outdoors.
Page 58. Before you listen. Exercise A. Vocabulary. Emergency preparations and supplies. Read and listen.
Evacuate.
An emergency.
A power outage.
A shelter.
A first aid kit.
A flashlight.
Non-perishable food.
Page 58. Listening comprehension. Exercise A. Listen for main ideas. Listen to an emergency radio broadcast. Write a sentence to describe the emergency the broadcaster is reporting. Exercise B. Listen for details. Listen again and correct each of the following false statements using indirect speech.
Today is Monday, October 11th.
This is a Government Weather Service update on Tropical Storm Maria, which is approaching our area. The storm is expected to arrive between 9 and 11 a.m. tomorrow. This is an extremely dangerous storm with high winds and heavy rain. Flooding is expected and evacuation may be necessary. The following are emergency procedures that all area residents should follow. 1. Fill your car with gas now, in case evacuation is necessary. 2. Bring outdoor furniture, tools, and other objects inside. They can be dangerous in high winds. 3. Close all windows and cover windows with wooden boards. When the storm hits, don't go near windows in case the wind causes the glass to break. 4. Turn your refrigerator and freezer to very cold and only open when necessary to preserve perishable food in the event of a power outage. 5. Buy extra batteries for flashlights in case there is a power outage or an evacuation. 6. If you don't have a portable, battery-operated radio, buy one today and have a good supply of extra batteries for the radio. Listen to the radio for official instructions in case evacuation is necessary. 7. Check your first aid kit. Be sure it contains bandages, painkillers, and antiseptic in case of minor injuries. 8. Put valuable papers in a waterproof container on the highest floor of your home in case of flooding. 9. Get a supply of non-perishable food and water. You may have to stay indoors for several days, and local water supplies may be contaminated by flooding. If evacuation becomes necessary, 1. Leave as soon as possible. Avoid flooded roads. Follow radio instructions for the best and safest evacuation route. 2. Listen to the radio for the location of shelters serving your neighborhood. 3. Take all emergency supplies and warm clothing and blankets to the shelter. 4. Lock your home and leave.
Page 60. Review. Exercise A. Listen to the report. The reporter describes 3 kinds of disasters. Listen carefully and check the ones that fall into the categories she describes. Listen again if necessary.
Good morning, listeners. Today we'll be discussing some of the worst natural disasters of the last century. It's hard to imagine events with death tolls over 1 million, but believe it or not, they're surprisingly common. Once in the last century, a lack of rainfall killed over 1 million people. And twice, too much water has done the same thing. But the worst disasters by far are episodes of sickness that affect millions. 5 were situations where over 1 million people died.
Top-notch pop song, Lucky to Be Alive.
Thank you for helping me to survive. I'm really lucky to be alive.
When I was caught in a freezing snowstorm, you taught me how to stay warm. When I was running from a landslide with no place to hide, you protected me from injury. Even the world's biggest tsunami has got nothing on me, because you can go faster. You keep me safe from disaster. You're like some kind of hero. You're the best friend that I know.
Thank you for helping me to survive. I'm really lucky to be alive.
When the big flood came with the pouring rain, they were saying that a natural disaster loomed. You just opened your umbrella. You were the only fella who kept calm and prepared. You found a shelter. I never felt like anybody cared the way that you did when you said, I will always be there. You can bet your life on it. And when the cyclone turned the day into night, you held a flashlight and showed me the safe way home. You called for help on your cell phone. You said you'd never leave me. You said, believe me, in times of trouble you will never be alone. They said it wasn't such a bad situation. It was beyond imagination. I'm just glad to be alive, and that is no exaggeration.
Thank you for helping me to survive. I'm really lucky to be alive.
Page 63. Exercise B. Photo story. Read and listen to a conversation about a career choice.
Dr. Miller, I wonder if I could pick your brain?
Sure, Charlotte. What's on your mind?
Well, I always thought I would go to engineering school, but now I'm not so sure anymore.
Well, it's not so unusual for a person your age to change her mind. I must have changed mine 10 times before I settled on medicine. Have you decided on something else?
Well, actually, I've developed an interest in the health field, and since you're a doctor...
Are you thinking of medicine?
Not specifically. Something related that doesn't take that long to study. I know there are some good options, but I'm having trouble making up my mind.
Well, have you given any thought to becoming a physical therapist? It's a great field. You help people, and there's always a job available.
Physical therapy. I should have thought of that. I'll keep that in mind.
Page 64. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to a conversation about a change in plans.
So what are you doing these days?
Well, I'm in dental school.
No kidding. I thought you had other plans.
That's right. I was going to be an artist, but I changed my mind.
How come?
Well, it's hard to make a living as a painter.
Page 64. Vocabulary. Reasons for changing plans. Exercise A. Read and listen.
I wanted to be a rock star, but my tastes changed.
I was going to be an artist, but it's hard to make a living as an artist.
I thought I would be a lawyer, but I didn't pass the exam.
I wanted to become a firefighter, but my family talked me out of it.
I was going to marry George, but I just changed my mind.
Page 65. Exercise C. Listen to activate vocabulary. Listen to the conversations. Complete each statement about the decision each person made. Listen again and use the vocabulary to write the reason each person changed his or her mind. Conversation 1.
So what did you want to be when you grew up?
Me? I actually wanted to be a sculptor, and I was one for about 5 years.
Really? So how come you're an architect now?
I guess it was just impossible to make a living.
I can imagine.
Conversation 2.
Weren't you going to marry that beautiful American dancer, what was her name, Jessica?
You remember? You're amazing.
Who could forget Jessica?
Well, she was gorgeous.
What made you change your mind?
I never really changed my mind. My parents convinced me not to do it.
Conversation 3.
I always thought you would become a lawyer.
What do you mean?
Well, you love to argue, and you love to win.
To tell you the truth, I really thought I would become a lawyer too, but I couldn't pass the entrance exam. I took it twice.
You're kidding.
Well, there's more to law than arguing and winning.
Conversation 4.
I remember that Romanian skier you were going to marry.
Oh, yes, Andrei. He was so cute.
Whatever happened?
When you get older, your tastes just change, I guess. That's why I married Jerome.
Page 66. Pronunciation. Reduction of have in perfect modals. Exercise A. Notice the reduction of have in perfect modals. Read and listen. 1.
I should have married Marie.
2.
They might have left.
3,
We may not have seen it.
4.
She could have been on time.
Page 67. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to a conversation between two people discussing a regret about the past.
I should have married Stephen.
Why do you think that?
Well, I might have had children by now.
Could be. But you never know. You might not have been happy.
True.
Page 68. Before you listen. Exercise A. Vocabulary.
Qualifications for work or study.
Read and listen.
Talents.
Skills.
Experience.
Knowledge.
Qualifications.
Page 68. Listening comprehension. Exercise A. Listen for details. Listen to 9 people being interviewed at an international job fair. Stop after each interview and match the interviewee with his or her qualification for a job. Listen again if necessary. Conversation 1.
Good morning.
Hello, I'm Sonia Espinosa. I'm interested in the job as director of the sports program, the one on the cruise ship.
Do you have any experience with sports programs or any special athletic ability?
Yes, I play tennis, golf, and I'm on a basketball team. I won a few swimming contests and I've been teaching swimming at a club for 5 years. I actually thought I would be an Olympic swimmer, but I'm not good enough for that.
Conversation 2.
Good morning. Please come in.
Thank you. I'm Silvano Lucastro. I'm interested in working in an international company, but I'm not sure what jobs might be available.
Okay, tell me something about yourself. What do you see as your strengths?
Well, I'm very logical. I can figure things out when other people can't. Whenever there is a problem, people bring it to me to look for an answer. I write everything down in a list and then think about every solution. It's a good way to solve problems.
Conversation 3.
Hello, please come in and have a seat.
Thanks.
Which job are you interested in?
I'm not sure. I don't have a family yet, and my English is pretty good. I'd love to work somewhere outside of the country for a while, but I don't have much work experience.
That's okay. We have jobs for people at every level. Please tell me about your qualifications.
Well, ever since I was a child, I've been great with my hands.
Manual dexterity. Can you tell me a little more?
Sure. People always tell me that I'm good at fixing things. I love to fix things that are broken.
That's great. I actually know of a nice position that might be just right for you. In the US, working for a Ukrainian piano company. Let me get your personal information. Please spell your name.
It's Ivan Martinovich. That's Martinovic.
Conversation 4.
Good afternoon.
Hi, I'm Agnes Lukens, and I'm a people person.
A people person. Could you please explain what you mean, Miss Lukens?
I just love working with people. And actually, people like working with me. And for me. They say I'm a good boss.
So, would you say you have strong leadership qualities?
I guess so. I manage people well, and my last 2 jobs have been in management. I'd like to know if there's anything available abroad. Maybe in Mexico? I can speak Spanish.
Let's have a look at the possibilities there.
Conversation 5.
Come in. You're Elena Burgess, aren't you?
Yes, that's right. I see you have 2 jobs available for psychologists. I just finished my studies and I'm not sure which job to apply for. This would be my first job.
Well, please tell me about yourself. What do you see as your strengths?
Strengths? Well, people say I have a lot of compassion.
You're compassionate? In what way?
I'm able to understand other people's feelings, to put myself in their shoes. I think I must have gotten that from my parents. Both my parents are psychologists too.
Conversation 6.
Good afternoon. You must be Karen Trent.
Yes, I'm looking for a job.
Certainly, Miss Trent. What kind of experience do you have?
Well, I'm a painter. I painted the murals at the new design center reception area.
Really? Those are beautiful. I understand they won a prize. You do have a lot of talent.
Thanks. I actually have a teaching certificate in art, and I'd love to work with children. Is there anything available in Europe? I speak French and German as well as English, and I'd love a chance to practice.
Conversation 7.
Please come in and have a seat.
Thank you. I'm Ed Snodgrass, and I'm a student. I'm looking for some kind of a summer job. Maybe in Thailand? Would that be possible?
Asia. Well, let's see. Tell me something about your skills and abilities.
Well, I'm pretty young, but people have always said I have a lot of common sense.
Now that does sound good. What specifically do you mean?
Well, I don't really have a lot of experience or skill, but I have a talent for just knowing what to do. Things seem pretty simple to me. I just seem to be able to figure out what to do when others can't.
Conversation 8.
Please come in and have a seat.
Thank you very much. I'm Akiko Uzawa. I've been working as a computer programmer, but I'm interested in moving to information technology. I see there is a job available with a multinational?
Yes, that's right. This would be a change for you, Mrs. Zawa. What makes you feel you would be good at information technology?
Well, I went into programming because I was always good at math. I think with my background in mathematics, I understand the needs and problems of people in IT.
Conversation 9.
Hello, are you Mia Kim?
Yes, that's right. I'm currently working as a receptionist at a law firm, but I've just finished a course as a legal secretary, and I'd like to apply for the opening in Paris.
Paris, do you speak French?
Yes, I have a good knowledge of French. My parents both worked in France for a Korean company, and I went to a French-speaking school.
What do you see as your strengths?
Well, I have a great memory for details, also for faces and facts. I hope you'll consider me for this job.
Page 70. Reading. Read and listen.
The 5 most effective work habits. Advice to new workers from a CEO. If you are new to the working world, you are eager to demonstrate your skills and knowledge. However, in addition to those, some basic work habits may be even more effective in promoting your success. Read the following advice to new workers written by the head of a company. 1. Volunteer for assignments. One of the best ways to signal that you are a keen learner and are not afraid of hard work is to volunteer for assignments. However, before volunteering for a task, be sure you have the skills and knowledge to accomplish it successfully. 2. Be nice to people. Be nice to people regardless of their rank or position. When you are nice to people, they go out of their way to help you, and every new worker needs help in order to get ahead. 3. Prioritize your work. We all love to start work on things that are close to our hearts. However, these may not be the most urgent and important in our list of tasks to do. Have a list of things to do according to their strategic importance to your company. When you prioritize your work, you are more productive, and that increases your chances of career success. 4. Stay positive. As someone new in the working world, you are not used to office culture, and there may be office politics that complicates things. Try to stay above politics and remain positive in the face of challenges. When you are positive, you stay focused on your goals. You make better decisions, and therefore, get more things done. 5. Highlight a problem, but bring solutions. Offer a solution each time you highlight a problem to your boss or management. You need to remember that when you bring problems and not solutions, people may think of you as a complainer. These 5 work habits, at first glance, may seem like common sense. However, in actual working environments, people tend to forget the basics. I counsel new workers in our company to internalize this behavior and consistently use it to increase their chances of career success.
Page 72. Review. Exercise A. Listen to the conversations between people talking about life changes. Write information on the notepad. Listen again if necessary. Conversation 1.
What happened? Weren't you going to get married?
Yes, but my parents were against the marriage.
How come?
My fiancée had to travel all the time for her work, and my parents convinced me that it would be hard to have a family. In the end, I agreed with them.
No regrets?
None.
Conversation 2.
I really wish I'd accepted that bank manager's position last year.
I thought you were going to take it. Why didn't you?
Well, I'd already planned to spend a couple of weeks with my relatives in Canada, and I really didn't want to have to cancel that trip. By the time I got back, it was too late. They'd given the job to someone else.
Well, in any case, you got a great job now.
True, but it'll take a long time before I get a job in management. I think I sort of missed the boat.
Conversation 3.
Didn't you used to teach painting?
Yes. I thought I would always teach art.
So how come you're a lawyer?
I have pretty expensive tastes, and I wasn't getting paid enough. And it turns out that I really like law.
So all's well that ends well.
You bet.
Conversation 4.
I thought you were going to be an interpreter at the United Nations.
Well, I was, but I tried twice and my English wasn't good enough, so I couldn't. The exam is extremely hard.
That's too bad.
Yes, I wish I had studied more.
Top-notch pop song, I Should Have Married Her.
She was born with talents in both literature and art. It must have been her love of books that first captured my heart. We both had experience with unhappiness before. I thought we would be together for rich or for poor. I should have married her. She was the love of my life. But now she's someone else's wife. I thought we would be happy. I thought our love was so strong. I must have got it all wrong. It's hard to make a living when you're living in the past. I wish we could have worked it out, but some things just don't last. I wonder what she's doing, or if she thinks of me. One day she just changed her mind, the rest is history. I should have married her. She was the love of my life. But now she's someone else's wife. I thought we would be happy. I thought our love was so strong. I must have got it all wrong. It's too late for regrets. She's gone forever now. We make our plans, but people change, and life goes on somehow. I should have married her. She was the love of my life. But now she's someone else's wife. I thought we would be happy. I thought our love was so strong. I must have got it all wrong. I should have married her. She was the love of my life. But now she's someone else's wife. I thought we would be happy. I thought our love was so strong. I must have got it all wrong.
Page 75. Exercise C. Photo story. Read and listen to a conversation about holiday traditions.
Wow, that dress your sister's wearing is gorgeous. What was the occasion?
Oh, that was for Chuseok. The dress is called the hanbok.
Did you say Chuseok? What's that, a holiday?
That's right. It's a traditional Korean holiday. It takes place in September or October each year to celebrate the harvest.
So does everyone dress up like that?
Some people do.
So what else does everyone do on Chuseok?
We get together with our relatives and we eat a lot.
Well, that sounds nice.
Not only that, but we go to our hometowns and visit the graves of our ancestors.
So I suppose the airports and train stations are mobbed with people, right?
Totally. And the traffic is impossible. It takes hours to get anywhere.
I think every country's got at least one holiday like that.
What holiday comes to mind for you?
It reminds me of Eid al-Adha, a 4-day religious holiday we celebrate where I come from.
In what way?
Well, people put on their best clothes and we eat a ton of great food. We also travel to be with our relatives and visit the graves of our loved ones who have died.
How about that? Sounds just like our holiday.
Page 76. Conversation Model. Exercise A. Read and listen to a conversation about a holiday.
I heard there's going to be a holiday next week.
That's right. The Harvest Moon Festival.
What kind of holiday is it?
It's a seasonal holiday that takes place in autumn. People spend time with their families and eat mooncakes.
Well, have a great Harvest Moon Festival.
Thanks. Same to you.
Types of holidays.
Seasonal, historical, religious.
Page 76. Vocabulary. Ways to commemorate a holiday. Exercise A. Read and listen.
Set off fireworks. March in parades. Have picnics.
Pray. Send cards. Give each other gifts.
Wish each other well. Remember the dead. Wear costumes.
Page 77. Exercise C. Listen to activate vocabulary. Listen and use the vocabulary to complete the chart. Listening 1.
There are Mardi Gras celebrations in many places in the world, but the Mardi Gras celebrations in New Orleans in the United States are world famous. Mardi Gras means Fat Tuesday and usually occurs in February. It began as a religious holiday in which people could really enjoy themselves before the more solemn Catholic celebration of Lent. Now, it's considered to be the biggest party in the world, and people travel from all over to enjoy the celebrations. On this day, people wear really wild costumes and dance in a huge parade to New Orleans' famous jazz music. Along the parade route, people in the parade throw purple, green, and gold-colored necklaces, candy, and other things to the people who are watching.
Listening 2.
Celebrated on July 14th, Bastille Day is France's most important national holiday. It celebrates the attack on the hated Bastille prison, which marked the beginning of the French Revolution that led to modern France. It's a joyous holiday in which people celebrate being French. You can see people dancing in the streets together and eating all kinds of food. Usually in the morning there are military parades with French flags flying all over, and in the evening fireworks are set off and families sit together to watch them.
Listening 3.
Sagansar, or White Month, is a celebration of the Lunar New Year in Mongolia. It's held for 3 days in February or March. Before the first day of the celebration, families clean every corner of their house. During this time, people wear new clothes, usually traditional Mongolian clothing, and they make lots of traditional foods. They also give each other gifts, and especially enjoy giving gifts to their children. One of the ways Mongolians really enjoy themselves during this holiday is to watch wrestling matches and horse races. All these activities symbolize starting the new year clean, rich, and happy.
Page 78. Conversation Model. Exercise A. Read and listen to a conversation about local customs.
Do you mind if I ask you about something?
Of course not. What's up?
I'm not sure about the customs here. If someone invites you for dinner, should you bring the host a gift?
Yes, it's a good idea. But the gift that you bring should be inexpensive.
Would it be appropriate to bring flowers?
Definitely.
Thanks. That's really helpful.
Page 79. Pronunciation. Thought groups. Exercise A. Thought groups clarify the meaning of sentences. Notice how sentence rhythm indicates how thoughts are grouped. Read and listen. 1.
The person who comes for dinner should bring flowers.
2.
The man we invited to the party is from Senegal.
3.
The song that you were listening to is fado music from Portugal.
4.
The Cherry Blossom Festival is a tradition that people observe in Japan every spring.
Page 80. Reading. Read and listen. Holidays around the world.
Ramadan, the month of fasting. May you be well throughout the year is the typical greeting during Ramadan, the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, a special occasion for over 1 billion Muslims throughout the world. According to Islamic tradition, Ramadan marks the time when Muhammad received the word of God through the Quran. Throughout the month, Muslims fast, totally abstaining from food and drink from the break of dawn until the setting of the sun. It is also a time of increased worship and giving to the poor and the community. Ramadan ends with the festival of Eid al-Fitr, 3 days of family celebrations and eating.
The Chinese New Year. The Chinese New Year is celebrated by Chinese around the world and marks the beginning of the first month in the Chinese calendar. The celebration usually takes place in February and lasts for 15 days. Before the holiday begins, families clean out their houses to sweep away bad luck, and they decorate their doors with red paper and big Chinese characters for happiness, wealth, and longevity. The night before, families gather together for a delicious meal. Outside, people set off firecrackers that make loud noises all through the night. In the morning, children wish their parents a healthy and happy New Year and receive red envelopes with money inside. It is customary for people to give each other small gifts of fruits and sweets and to visit older family members. In the street, lion and dragon dancers set off more firecrackers to chase away evil spirits.
Simón Bolívar's birthday. Simón Bolívar was born on July 24, 1783 in Caracas, Venezuela. He is known throughout Latin America as the Liberator
because he led the fight for independence from Spain. His armies freed Venezuela,
Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. He is memorialized in many ways, but 2 countries celebrate his birthday every July 24th, Venezuela and Ecuador. On that day, schools and most general businesses are closed, and there are military parades and government ceremonies. But the malls are open, and people usually use the holiday to go shopping.
Page 82. Before you listen. Exercise A. Vocabulary. Getting married. Read and listen. The events.
An engagement. Get engaged. A marriage ceremony. Get married. A wedding. A reception. A honeymoon.
The people.
A fiancé, a fiancée, a bride, a groom, newlyweds.
Page 82. Listening comprehension. Exercise A. Listen for the main idea. Listen to part 1 of a lecture about a traditional Indian wedding. Which of the following statements best summarizes the information? Exercise B. Listen for details. Listen again to part 1 and circle the best way to complete each statement. Part 1.
In India, Hindu wedding traditions vary from state to state. But most families are known to go out of their way to make a wedding a huge celebration which can last for as long as 5 days or more. It is common for wedding preparations to start a year before the actual date. After a couple gets engaged to be married, the date for the wedding is chosen very carefully based on the bride and groom's birthdays and other details to bring good luck. 2 days before the wedding, celebrations begin at the groom's home. This is called making the groom. Musicians visit his home as early as 4 in the morning and play traditional music while the groom's relatives and neighbors come to see him. While there, they make decorations from mango leaves, which will later be used at the wedding ceremony. Next, someone washes the groom with coconut or olive oil. His face is painted with a black dot on each cheek and a spot between his eyes. Then an older person in the family offers the groom money as a gift. The bride goes through a ceremony before the wedding called making the bride. Her face, arms, hands, and feet are painted attractively by her relatives, leaving her skin a red color. This process takes many hours to do and requires a lot of patience.
Page 83. Exercise C. Listen for the main idea. Now listen to part 2 of the lecture. What is the information mainly about? Exercise D. Listen for details. Listen again to part 2 and check the statements that are true. Correct the statements that are false. Part 2.
The wedding ceremony is usually held in the evening. When the bride and groom arrive, there's a lot of noise and music. Members of the family wash their feet and sprinkle flowers and water on them. The couple sits in chairs under a special roof made of leaves and flowers. While the bride is seated behind a cloth so the groom can't see her, the guests eat and enjoy the wedding feast. Then, when it's near the end of the feast, the cloth is removed and the music is played again. It's considered bad luck to sneeze at this moment. All the guests clap their hands while the music is playing. Then, one by one, the guests come to the couple and throw rice grains at their heads for prosperity. Everyone wishes the couple well. Then the couple gives each other rings made of flowers and handfuls of rice. The groom places a golden necklace over the bride's neck. Finally, the groom places a second necklace around the bride's neck to signify the end of the wedding.
Page 84. Review. Exercise A. Listen to each conversation and circle the occasion or the people they are talking about. Listen again and circle T if the statement is true or F if it is false. Correct any false statements. Listen again if necessary. Conversation 1.
Check out these pictures we took in Tahiti.
Oh, these are really nice. Is that your wife?
Yes. We took off right after the reception.
How romantic. How long were you there?
10 days.
Conversation 2.
Hey, congratulations. I heard the news.
Thanks. I guess everyone knows now.
That's great. So when's the date?
In September. We've got a lot of planning to do.
Well, the great thing is that you've decided to tie the knot. Congratulations.
Conversation 3.
Is it true what I hear? That you caught the bouquet?
Uh-huh. She threw it right to me.
Well, you've been great friends since childhood, right?
Yeah, we have. I'm so happy for her.
Conversation 4.
Can you believe how much money they paid for this reception?
I know. It's unbelievable. It must have cost a fortune.
I heard the parents and grandparents all wanted a really big wedding. They must have a lot of money.
Well, you know what they say. Weddings are really for the family.
I guess so. Everyone does seem to be having a wonderful time.
Top-notch pop song, Endless Holiday.
Today all my thoughts drift away before they've begun. I sit in my room in the darkness and gloom, just waiting for someone to take me to a tourist town with parties in the street and people dancing to a joyful sound. It's a song that people sing, it's the laughter that you bring on an endless holiday. It's the happiness inside, it's a roller coaster ride on an endless holiday. I try and I try to work hard, but I get lost in a daze. And I think about how sad life is without a few good holidays. I close my eyes, pull down the shade. In my imagination, I am dancing in a big parade. And the music is loud, I get lost in the crowd on an endless holiday. It's a picnic at noon, it's a trip to the moon on an endless holiday. With flags and confetti, wild costumes and a great big marching band, as we wish each other well in a language we all understand. The sky above fills with the light of fireworks exploding as we dance along the street tonight. It's a song that people sing, it's the laughter that you bring on an endless holiday. It's the happiness inside, it's a roller coaster ride on an endless holiday.
Page 87. Exercise B. Photo story. Read and listen to a conversation about how an invention might have helped someone.
This itching is driving me crazy.
Look at your arm. Are those mosquito bites?
Yeah. Ben and I got eaten alive last weekend. We went away for a second honeymoon at this cute little bed and breakfast in the mountains, but the mosquitoes were brutal.
Oh, that doesn't sound very romantic. Didn't they have screens in the windows?
Well, they did, but ours had a big hole, and we didn't realize it until the middle of the night. What a nightmare.
Too bad you didn't bring any insect repellent. There are tons of mosquitoes in the mountains this time of year. Hello?
We actually did have some, but it just didn't work that well. You know how Ben is. Everything has to be organic and natural and...
Well, with all due respect to Ben, you just have to bite the bullet once in a while and use the stuff that works. Whether you like it or not, the poison is effective.
I agree, but Ben won't hear of it. You know, next time we go away for a romantic weekend, I'm packing one of those mosquito nets to hang over the bed.
Page 88. Vocabulary. Describing manufactured products. Exercise A. Read and listen. Uses new technology.
High-tech. State-of-the-art. Cutting edge.
Offers high quality.
High-end. Top of the line. First rate.
Uses new ideas.
Innovative. Revolutionary. Novel.
Page 88. Exercise B.
Listen to activate vocabulary.
Listen to the ads. Choose the correct word or phrase to describe the product. Ad 1.
Need the newest technology? The Strawberry Palm Top is a smartphone with 10,000 applications and room enough for 10,000 more. Get the latest technology for the lowest price. Now that's smart.
Ad 2.
For the most reliable workhorse in digital office phones, order the classic and traditional Blackstone. The Blackstone uses familiar, time-proven technology, no gimmicks or hard-to-understand buttons. No other office phone provides unfailing service and sound quality that's clear enough for a conference call with 50 people in the room.
Ad 3.
The microscanner enables you to scan images from a remote source. Clear as a bell color images transmitted from anywhere in your phone network can be instantly uploaded onto your PC. No more old-fashioned two-step processes. The microscanner is simple and inexpensive and makes all low-tech scanners obsolete.
Ad 4.
What's better than a camera phone? What about a phone camera? The Digicon B1X Beta permits you to talk to people on site in wide-angle and telephoto scenes, permitting you to direct them to get the best shot. Talk right into the lens. It's always ready. This all-in-one device uses ideas that most people haven't yet imagined, and it's available today for people who simply have to have all the latest applications.
Ad 5.
Available today from Technicon, the 17-inch LCD monitor, the latest in Technicon's award-winning monitors. This model has a beautiful sleek design and enhanced virtual surround sound speakers. Impress your guests. They'll know just by seeing it that you've purchased the very best in the Technicon line.
Page 89. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to a conversation about new technology.
I just got a new car.
No kidding. What kind?
The Alva 500. The 500 model is top of the line. I thought I'd treat myself.
Well, congratulations. If I had the money, I'd get a new car myself.
Page 90. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to someone taking responsibility for a mistake.
Sorry I'm late. I thought the meeting was tomorrow.
What happened?
I'm ashamed to say I just forgot to put it on my calendar.
Don't worry. That can happen to anyone.
Well, if I had written it down, I wouldn't have forgotten.
No harm done. We were just getting started.
Page 91. Pronunciation. Contractions with d in spoken English. Exercise A. Note
the pronunciation of the spoken contractions of
had, would, and did. Read and listen. 1.
Where did you go? Where do you go?
2.
Who did you see? Who'd you see?
3.
It would be okay. It'd be okay.
4.
If we had had a map, we wouldn't have gotten lost. If we'd had a map, we wouldn't have gotten lost.
Exercise B. Listening comprehension. Write the sentences you hear. Write full, not contracted forms. 1.
Where'd they go?
2.
Who'd they talk to?
3.
When do you buy that car?
4.
If I'd wanted that laptop, we would have gotten it.
5.
If we'd known we couldn't use that scanner, we wouldn't have tried.
6.
Why'd they try to fix the coffee maker?
Page 92. Before you listen. Exercise A. Vocabulary. More descriptive adjectives. Read and listen.
Low-tech, high-tech,
Wacky.
unique,
Efficient. Inefficient.
Page 92. Listening comprehension. Exercise A. Listen and write the number of the conversation next to the invention each person should have had. Exercise B. Listen again and then write each problem in your own words. Conversation 1.
I'm going crazy. I didn't sleep a wink last night.
How come?
It's my cats again. If they're out, they want to come in, and if they're in, they want to go out. Like T.S. Eliot said, they're on the wrong side of every door. Last night, they woke me up 3 times.
Conversation 2.
Oh no, look at the time. It's already 6 o'clock and your mother is coming at 7.
This place is a mess. Look at the dust on the floor. What do we do?
Relax. I'll clean up while you make dinner.
We'll never be ready in time. Maybe she won't notice the dust.
Conversation 3.
Georgette, what happened to your skirt? You look like you fell in the river.
I might as well have. I had to wait a long time for the bus, and every car that passed by splashed water on me.
Yeah, the puddles from the rain are enormous.
And filthy.
Conversation 4.
Thanks so much for the tomato plants. I love homegrown tomatoes.
You're welcome. Just be sure to plant them within a couple of days. They're getting a little too big for their pots.
I will. See you soon.
Bye now.
Oh my gosh, I don't have time to get the soil ready for so many plants. I have a lot of work to do in the house this weekend.
Page 94. Reading. Read and listen.
Antibiotics. Today, vaccines can prevent some of the infectious diseases that in the past resulted in serious illness and death. Fortunately, for diseases caused by bacteria, tiny organisms that can only be seen by microscope, vaccines can make the difference between life and death. What are antibiotics? Antibiotics are substances that work in one of two ways. Some antibiotics, such as penicillin, kill disease-causing bacteria. Others, such as tetracycline, stop them from multiplying. History. In 1675, Dutch scientist Antony van Leeuwenhoek, using a microscope, discovered the existence of microorganisms. However, it wasn't known that they could cause disease until French scientist Louis Pasteur confirmed that, approximately 200 years later. Finally, in 1928, British scientist Alexander Fleming noticed that a mold, Penicillium, growing in one of his petri dishes, was capable of killing bacteria, and the development of antibiotics became possible. Fleming named the active agent in the mold penicillin, but was unable to create a drug from it. In 1940, during the Second World War, two scientists working at Oxford University, Ernst Chain and Howard Florey, were able to make an antibacterial powder from penicillin that was safe to use on humans. Penicillin was mass-produced for use on soldiers in the war. If there had been no penicillin, many would have died from bacterial infections caused by their injuries and wounds. Soon, penicillin was used for serious diseases, such as pneumonia and tuberculosis, which had always caused many deaths. Fleming, Florey, and Chain received the Nobel Prize in 1945. Antibiotics changed medicine and continue today to enable people to survive conditions that would have killed them before the antibiotic age. Overuse of antibiotics. Since their discovery and widespread use, antibiotics have been considered a wonder drug. Many common diseases, however, are caused by viruses, not bacteria, and antibiotics are not effective against them. Nevertheless, too many people use antibiotics regularly, believing they will cure viral illnesses, such as common upper respiratory infections, colds, and sore throats. Why is this a problem? First, it is a waste of money to use antibiotics to treat viruses. Our body's immune system eventually combats most viruses, and we recover without treatment. But more importantly, bacteria exposed to an antibiotic can become resistant to it, making the antibiotic less effective or even useless. If antibiotics no longer work against infections and diseases, people will begin to die from them again. If scientists had recognized that bacteria could develop resistance, perhaps they would have warned doctors not to use antibiotics unless a patient has a bacterial infection. Hopefully, worldwide awareness of this threat to an important class of drugs will convince us to avoid using them for conditions that don't require them. Some diseases caused by bacteria: tuberculosis, plague, pertussis, streptococcal sore throat, strep throat. Some diseases caused by viruses: influenza, or the flu, polio, AIDS, the common cold, hepatitis.
Reading.
The printing press. If you asked a large number of people what the most important invention has been, many would say the wheel, but many others would say the printing press. It's debatable which altered history more, But without a doubt, the printing press ranks within the top 2 or 3 inventions in history. Long before the telephone, the television, the radio, and the computer, the written word was the only way to communicate ideas to people too far away to talk with. Until the 6th or 7th century, all books had to be written by hand. For that reason, very few books existed, and therefore, very few people read them. In the 6th and 7th centuries, the Japanese and Chinese invented a way to print pages by carving characters and pictures on wooden, ivory, or clay blocks. They would put ink on a block and then press paper onto the ink, printing a page from the block. This process is called letterpress printing. The invention of letterpress printing was a great advance in communication, because each block could be inked many times, and many copies of each page could be made. Many books could now be made. Therefore, many people could read the same book. Later, in the 11th century, another great advance occurred. The Chinese invented movable type. Each character was made as a separate block, which could be used many times in many texts. This meant that pages could be created by putting together these individual characters rather than having to have each whole page carved. Movable type was much more efficient than the earlier Japanese and Chinese print blocks because books could be created much more quickly by people with less skill. In Europe, movable type was used for the first time in the 15th century, and there Johannes Gutenberg invented typecasting, a way to make movable type much more quickly by melting metal and pouring it into the forms of the letters. This greatly increased the speed of printing, because letters could now be used more than one time on a page. Eventually, movable type made books available to many more people.
Page 96. Review. Exercise A. Listen to people talking about new products. Match the name of each product with the best adjective to describe it. Conversation 1.
I want one of those phones that does everything. Takes pictures, does email, pays bills. I'm tired of my old-fashioned phone. All you can do is call people and talk.
Well, have you seen the Ultra phone? It's got the latest technology. You just talk into it and it can create documents at your office.
How does it do that?
It can read your lips. You just speak into the lens of the camera so it can see your lips.
You're pulling my leg. That sounds impossible.
No, just step this way. I'll show you how it works.
Wow. The Ultra phone.
Conversation 2.
I need a faster way to get dinner ready. It takes too long to start after I get home from work.
Well, let me show you something better. Remote-controlled cookware. You combine the ingredients the night before and just plug it in. The cookware keeps everything cold until you press the button on this remote. Then the cookware heats up and cooks everything. When you get home, dinner is ready.
Dinner from a distance. Sounds like a lot less work in a lot less time.
Conversation 3.
We're worried about what our children are watching on TV. There are so many terrible programs. What can we do?
Well, have you heard about Kinder TV? It takes the worry out of TV for parents.
No, what's that?
Well, you buy this special TV, and then you register by email. Once a week, you receive an email describing daytime TV programs for that week. You just check off the programs you don't want, and Kinder TV simply removes them.
Unbelievable. I've never heard of anything like that.
It's absolutely the only one that exists.
Conversation 4.
This face cream is great. It makes me look 10 years younger.
You do look great. What's it called?
10 years off.
Who makes it?
Lake.
Well, Lake is the best brand, so I'm not surprised that 10 years off is great.
They make a lot of creams, but they told me 10 years off is absolutely the best one they make.
Top-notch pop song, Reinvent the Wheel.
You've got your digi-camera with a power shot, 4 megapixels and a memory slot. You've got your email and your internet. You send me pictures of your digi-pen. blues, and you don't know the way I really feel. Why'd you have to go and reinvent the wheel? You've got your cordless phone and your microwave and your Reflex Plus for the perfect shape. It's super special, top of the line with the latest new cutting edge design. You've got your SLR and your LCD, your PS2 and your USB. I've seen the future and it's pretty grim. They've used up all the acronyms, and you don't know the way I really feel. Why'd you have to go and reinvent the wheel? I keep waiting for a breakthrough innovation, something to help our poor communication. Hey, where'd you get all of that high-tech taste? Your faith in progress is such a waste. Your life may be state of the art, but you don't understand the human heart. And you don't know the way I really feel. Why'd you have to go and reinvent the wheel?
Page 98. Exercise A. Vocabulary. Political terminology. Read and listen.
A government.
Politics.
A constitution.
An election.
Vote.
Campaign.
A democracy.
A monarchy.
A dictatorship.
A constitutional monarchy.
Page 99. Exercise C. Photo story. Read and listen to a conversation about discussing politics.
What a coincidence. I was just thinking about calling you. It's been such a long time.
It sure has. Let's sit down and catch up. What are you up to these days?
Busy. The office has been crazy with the election coming up next month. You can imagine.
But I'll bet working at a TV station is exciting. Hey, Paul, do you mind if I ask you a political question? I hope it's not inappropriate. I am not sure it's polite to ask about politics here in the U.S.
That's funny. They always say not to talk about religion or politics, but everyone does. Shoot.
Okay. Who are you planning to vote for in the election?
Well, because we're friends, I'll answer. But I should warn you that it might not be a good idea to ask just anyone that question. Some people might find it a little personal.
Oops.
No worries. Actually, I haven't made up my mind. I'm leaning towards Clancy, though. I think he's better than the other guy.
Page 100. Vocabulary. A continuum of political and social beliefs. Exercise A. Read and listen.
Radical.
Liberal.
Moderate.
Conservative.
Reactionary.
Page 100. Exercise B.
Listen to infer and activate vocabulary.
Listen to each conversation. Then, with a partner, complete the chart. Listen again if necessary to check your work or settle any disagreements. Conversation 1.
I'm completely against marriage. I don't think a piece of paper means anything.
What piece of paper are you talking about?
A marriage license. What good is it? Everyone today is getting divorced anyway. I think we should simply end the institution of marriage. Marriage is a thing of the past.
Those are pretty extreme ideas.
Conversation 2.
Well, you're finally old enough to vote, Marianne.
Who are you going to vote for?
I'm going to vote for the Constitution Party.
The Constitution Party? Wow, is that a surprise? You're so young. Don't you want to see change? The Constitution Party just has the same old ideas election after election.
So, what's wrong with the same ideas? They're better than some of the new ones. I think it's safer to stick with policies that have been successful. If it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Conversation 3.
You know, I used to be afraid of change. I thought there was only one way to look at things, that the way we did things when I was young was the only way.
How have you changed?
Well, for instance, I used to think there should be certain roles for men and certain roles for women. Now I've come to think I was silly.
You mean you're turning out to be a radical in your old age?
Come on. No radical, just more thoughtful. I'm not in favor of big changes, but a little change is good, especially when it makes people more free.
That sounds reasonable.
Conversation 4.
I can't imagine bringing children into this 21st century world.
What do you mean?
Well, there are no rules anymore. You can buy anything, anywhere. You can see all kinds of disgusting stuff on TV and in the movies. Violence, sex, whatever. Anything goes. There's no respect.
I can't believe anyone so young can have such old ideas.
I think we should bring back some of the old laws.
Conversation 5.
Who are you going to vote for?
I think I'm going to vote for Bartlett Nardone.
I thought you liked Al Smith.
No, he's too liberal for me. But Nardone, he's not so extreme. He's a pretty sensible guy.
Page 101.
Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to a conversation about politics.
Do you mind if I ask you a political question?
No problem. What would you like to know?
Well, are you a liberal or a conservative?
Actually, I'm neither. I like to make up my mind based on the issue.
So would you say you're an independent?
I guess you could say that.
If you don't want to answer.
No offense, but I feel a little uncomfortable talking about that. I hope you don't mind.
Absolutely not. It's a good thing I asked.
Introducing sticky questions.
It might be a little personal.
It might be a little touchy.
It might be a little controversial.
It might be a little inappropriate.
Page 101.
Pronunciation. Stress to emphasize meaning. Exercise A. Listen to the different intonations of the same sentence. 1.
Are you a conservative?
2.
Are you a conservative?
3.
Are you a conservative?
4.
Are you a conservative?
Page 102. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to a polite conversation about a controversial issue.
How do you feel about capital punishment? I'm in favor of it. I believe if you kill someone, you deserve to be killed. What about you?
Actually, I'm against the death penalty. I think it's wrong to take a life, no matter what.
Well, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree.
Disagreement.
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree. Really? I have to disagree with you there. Do you think so? I'm not sure I agree. Well, I'm afraid I don't agree. No offense, but I just can't agree.
Agreement.
I agree with you on that one. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly what I think.
Page 102. Vocabulary. Some controversial issues. Exercise A. Read and listen.
Censorship of books and movies. Compulsory military service. Lowering the driving age.
Raising the voting age. Prohibiting smoking indoors.
Page 103. Exercise B.
Listen to activate vocabulary.
Listen to people's opinions about controversial issues. Complete the chart with the issue they discuss. Use the vocabulary. Exercise C. Now listen again and check for or against in the chart according to what the person says. 1.
Oh no. I can't believe how inconsiderate people are. My eyes are burning and I can't taste the food. I really think smoking should be outlawed in restaurants.
2.
I'm a pacifist. I'm against all wars, no matter what. I really think governments would be less likely to go to war if there weren't so many soldiers to send. Let's change the law so the government doesn't have such a large military force.
3.
Look at this article in the newspaper. It says research has proved that 16-year-olds are not mature enough to drive cars. People shouldn't be permitted to drive until they're at least 18. I think we should change the driving age.
4.
I think it's ridiculous that people can go in the Army at 18, but they can't vote until they're 21. 18-year-olds are smart enough to vote.
5.
Some of the things you see on TV these days are horrible. I don't want my children watching so much violence and immoral behavior. Can't we stop the TV stations from showing such terrible stuff?
Page 104. Reading. Read and listen.
The following issues were most frequently mentioned in a global survey about current world problems.
Corruption. People all over the world complain about the corruption of police, government officials, and business leaders. 2 examples of corruption are: a police officer takes money, a bribe, from a driver, so he doesn't give the driver a ticket for speeding. A company that wants to do business with a government agency offers a public official money or a gift to choose that company for the job. Some people feel that power promotes corruption and that corruption is unavoidable. But in independent media, for example, non-government-backed newspapers, television stations, and internet blogs, can also play an important role in exposing corruption. Poverty. Approximately 1/5 of the world's population, over 1 billion people, earns less than $1 a day. Each day, over 1 billion people in the world lack basic food supplies. And according to UNICEF, each day, 25,000 children under the age of 5 die of starvation or preventable infectious disease. There are many causes of poverty, ranging from catastrophic natural events to bad economic and agricultural policies, so there's no one solution to poverty worldwide. Some people feel that wealthy nations must send aid to poorer nations, while others are concerned that nothing will help unless local corruption is reduced and bad government policies are changed. Terrorism. Every day we see or hear about suicide bombings and other violent acts committed against innocent people for religious or political reasons. Many ask why terrorism is on the rise. Some social scientists believe that television and movies may contribute to growing anger. They claim that some people may feel frustrated and powerless when they measure their lives against the lives of extremely wealthy people they see in the media. However, views about what causes terrorism can be very controversial, and many people disagree about its causes or possible solutions. While some feel that terrorism can be met with military force, others believe that people's extreme poverty and powerlessness must be reduced to make a difference. Racism and discrimination. Racism, the belief that one's own race or ethnic group is superior to others, and racial and ethnic discrimination, treating members of other groups unfairly, exist in many places. These 2 common problems cause human rights violations all over the world. In some cases, a more powerful ethnic or racial group justifies the domination and, horribly, even the complete destruction of ethnic or racial minorities they consider to be inferior.
When taken to this extreme, genocides, such as the European Holocaust and the massacre in Sudan, have threatened to wipe out entire peoples. Can racism and discrimination be eliminated, or are these simply unfortunate features of human nature? Many people believe that education can help build tolerance of the other and may contribute to creating a more peaceful world.
Page 106. Before you listen. Exercise A. Vocabulary. How to debate an issue politely. Read and listen. 1.
I think smoking is a disgusting habit.
That may be true, but if you only smoke in your own house, you're not hurting anyone but yourself.
2.
I think more people should be active in politics. That way we would have better governments.
I see what you mean, but it's not realistic to expect everyone to care.
3.
I think our president is doing an excellent job.
Well, on the one hand, he's not corrupt. But on the other hand, he hasn't done much to improve the country.
4.
I think we should just vote against everyone who's in office now. That's a good way to get change.
That's one way to look at it, but how do we know inexperienced candidates will be any better than what we already have?
Page 107. Listening comprehension. Listen to summarize. Listen to 3 conversations about dictatorship, democracy, and monarchy. Listen again, and on a separate sheet of paper, take notes about the arguments in favor and against each system of government. Then work in pairs. Partner A, summarize the arguments in favor. Partner B, summarize the arguments against. Conversation 1.
You know, I feel that some countries don't deserve democracy. The citizens are just incapable of living in peace.
Well, what form of government would be best for them?
I hate to say it, but some places need dictatorships, even military dictatorships. They're effective, they're efficient, they make people live in peace.
I totally disagree. I believe dictatorships are morally wrong. The people have no rights in a dictatorship. If the government does something terrible, the people can't replace it.
Conversation 2.
Which party are you going to vote for in the election?
The Liberal Party.
Why?
Because they want to change the election laws so there can be only 2 candidates for president.
But that's not democratic. This is a democracy. The people have the power. They can vote for who they like. That's what's good about democracy.
That's one way to look at it. But one of the disadvantages of democracy is that we can get a president who only has a small percentage of the votes. We're supposed to have majority rule, not minority rule.
Conversation 3.
How do you feel about the royal family?
Me? Well, on the one hand, I like the royals as people. They do a lot of important charity work, like visiting sick children and raising money for hospitals. But on the other hand, I believe that in this day and age, monarchy is wrong. The monarchs aren't the real government, and they cost us a lot of money.
That's true. But if you didn't have the monarchy, you'd lose your tradition and your history.
I see what you mean, but with all the problems we have, we should use all that money to help people with their problems.
Page 108. Review. Exercise A. Listen to the news report about 4 news stories.
Then listen again and circle the correct word or phrase.
Good evening. Fighting has broken out again tonight on the border between the Sarindian and Ramey provinces. Ethnic Sarindians say they are not permitted to observe their dietary laws and that their children are not permitted to wear traditional dress at school. On another note, a package containing a large amount of explosive material was discovered at the Central Post Office today. Authorities are searching for the person or persons who left it in the men's restroom. In the central city, volunteers are opening soup kitchens to feed the large numbers of homeless poor who have recently arrived from the countryside. The government is making funds available to help this growing population. And finally, a police captain in Spartak has been accused of taking bribes to permit engineers to build buildings that don't conform to safe construction laws. A report will be issued tomorrow.
Top-notch pop song, We Can Agree to Disagree.
I believe that dogs should be allowed to wander free.
That may be true, but don't you think that people have rights too?
I believe the time has come for true dog liberty.
I see what you mean, but I don't share your point of view.
We can agree to disagree about what's wrong and right. It wouldn't be cool for you and me to fight when we don't see eye to eye. I think my cat deserves to eat a treat no matter what.
Well, on the one hand, yes, but on the other hand, well, no.
Don't you feel that every meal should be shared with a pet?
That's one way to look at it, but I don't think so.
We can agree to disagree about what's wrong and right. It wouldn't be cool for you and me to fight when we don't see eye to eye. You can be radical, you can be conservative. My dog doesn't care, and he won't ask you to leave. You can be moderate, you can be a liberal. You can believe what you wanna believe. I urge you to think it over before you decide.
That your dog is very nice, I couldn't agree more.
I believe that you and I should be the best of friends.
That's exactly what I think. Why weren't we friends before?
We can agree to disagree about what's wrong and right. It wouldn't be cool for you and me to fight when we don't see eye to eye.
Page 110. Exercise A. Vocabulary. Geographical features. Read and listen.
Then listen again and repeat. Find these features on the map.
A gulf, a bay, a lake, an ocean.
A sea, a volcano, a mountain range, a national park.
Page 111. Exercise C. Photo story. Read and listen to two tourists talking about Costa Rica.
Have you folks been here long?
A little over a week. Unfortunately, we've only got 2 days left. You?
We just got here yesterday, actually.
I'm Frank, by the way. Frank Liu, from Hong Kong.
Max Belli, from Labro, Italy. Have you heard of it?
I can't say I have.
It's a very small town, about 20 kilometers north of Rome. Hey, you wouldn't happen to know anything about the La Fortuna waterfall, would you? We plan on driving up there this weekend.
Actually, we just got back from there yesterday.
What a coincidence. Was it worth seeing?
Spectacular. You don't want to miss it. But be sure to take it slow on the path down to the bottom of the falls. It can get pretty wet and slippery.
Thanks for the warning. What if we want to get a look at the Arenal volcano, too? Do you think that's doable in 2 days?
No problem. The volcano's only about 20 minutes west of La Fortuna by car, so I'm sure you could handle them both.
Page 112. Grammar. Prepositions of geographical place.
Compass directions.
North,
South,
east,
west,
northeast,
northwest,
southeast,
southwest.
Page 112. Pronunciation. Voiced and voiceless th. Exercise A. Read and listen. Voiced th. 1,
There.
2,
This.
3,
Northern.
4.
Southern.
The West.
Voiceless th. 1,
Thanks.
2,
Think.
3,
North.
4.
South.
Southwestern.
Page 113. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to someone describing a geographical location.
Where exactly is the temple located?
About 15 kilometers north of Kyoto. Are you planning to go there?
I've been thinking about it.
It's a must-see. Be sure to take pictures.
Recommendations.
It's a must-see. You don't want to miss it.
Criticisms.
It's overrated. It's a waste of time.
Page 114. Vocabulary. Describe possible risks. Exercise A. Read and listen.
It can be quite dangerous.
It can be very rocky.
It can be extremely steep.
It can be so slippery.
It can be pretty dark.
It can be terribly exhausting.
It can be really foggy.
Some places.
A path. A cliff. A cave.
Dangerous animals and insects.
A snake. A shark.
A jellyfish. A bear.
A scorpion. A mosquito.
Page 114. Exercise B. Listen to the conversations. Check if the speaker thinks the place is
Risky or not.
Exercise C. Listen again. Complete each statement with
The risks.
Conversation 1.
I can't wait to see the waterfall. They say it's beautiful.
It is. You don't want to miss it.
I'm going to take a lot of pictures.
Well, watch out on your way down. The path is pretty steep.
Don't worry, I'll be careful.
And make sure you bring something for the mosquitoes. They can be terrible at this time of year.
Thanks.
Conversation 2.
Well, I'll be heading off for Sorak Mountain tomorrow morning.
Wow, that's great. First time?
Uh-huh.
Well, keep an eye out for bears, okay? They say it's good to make a lot of noise while you're hiking there.
I'll do that.
And make sure you bring a lot of water. They say that hiking the path can be quite exhausting if you're not used to it.
Okay.
Conversation 3.
Is it okay to go swimming in the bay here?
Oh, it's beautiful. The water is great.
I heard there are a lot of mosquitoes, though. Is that true?
On the beach? I don't think so.
Are you sure it's okay? Someone told me they were terrible.
Who told you that? We go swimming there all the time.
What about jellyfish?
Don't worry about it. We've been going swimming there for years and we've never had a problem.
Conversation 4.
I'd like to take a walk north of the town to see the cliffs.
Great idea. The views of the ocean are fantastic. But make sure you stay on the path, okay? The cliffs are really steep and it's dangerous to stand too close to the edge.
Ooh, thanks for the warning.
One other thing. I'm sure you won't have a problem, but keep an eye out for snakes.
You're kidding. For real?
Well, there are snakes in the area. Just be careful and I'm sure you'll be fine.
Page 115. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to someone warning about a risk.
Excuse me, can you tell me the way to the beach?
That way. It's not very far.
Thanks. Is it safe to go swimming there?
Sure, but be careful. There's sometimes an undertow.
Really?
Well, it's too dangerous for children to go swimming there, but I'm sure you'll be fine.
Thanks for the warning.
Page 116. Before you listen. Exercise A. Vocabulary. Describing
natural features.
Read and listen. Geographic nouns.
A forest, a jungle, a valley, a canyon, an island, a glacier.
Geographic adjectives.
Mountainous, hilly, flat, dry, arid, lush, green.
Strong positive adjectives.
The scenery was breathtaking. The views were spectacular. The sights were extraordinary.
Page 116. Listening comprehension. Exercise A. Listen for main ideas. Read the questions.
Listen to a description of a memorable trip and answer the questions.
Exercise B. Listen for details.
Listen again and pay attention
to how Mr. Ozaki describes
what he
saw on his trip. Complete each phrase with a word from the box.
About 2 years ago, I went to the United States on vacation with friends. We drove everywhere, about 190 miles east from San Francisco to Yosemite National Park. I'd say it took about 6 hours to get there. Yosemite National Park was huge. I mean, really huge. I was so excited to be there surrounded by those beautiful mountains, with so many things to see. In Yosemite Valley, there were these super high cliffs and spectacular waterfalls. There's this one spot called the Mariposa Grove. It's an ancient forest with literally hundreds of giant sequoias. The sequoia's one of the biggest and most extraordinary trees there is. We also visited Glacier Point, which has breathtaking views of Yosemite Valley and all the mountains around it. What I can't forget is the fresh air. The smell. It was so clean. Everything was just so great. And I was really surprised when I saw some people way up high on the cliffs. They were actually climbing. They looked so small to me. Someone told me that it would actually take them more than a couple of days to get to the top. What I liked best about Yosemite National Park was the size of it and the natural beauty. I had never ever seen a park that big and so, well, untouched. At least it seemed that way to me. Since I grew up in Japan, I had never imagined there could be such a place. I felt like I was a part of nature.
energy
Energy
and the
efficient.
environment, climate change,
Increase.
stress in verbs and
An
nouns.
increase.
Decrease.
A decrease.
Page 118. Reading. Read and listen.
Choose clean energy and help curb global warming. Fossil fuels, such as oil, coal, and natural gas, provide energy for our cars and homes, but increase the amount of carbon dioxide, CO2, in the air, contributing to global warming. However, there are choices we can make that can lessen their negative impact on the environment.
Get moving. Take good care of your car and keep your tires properly inflated with air. You will use less gasoline and save money. Better yet, skip the drive and walk, take public transportation, or ride a bicycle when you can. Upgrade. Replace your old refrigerator or air conditioner with a new energy-efficient model. Not only will you save money on your electric bill, but you'll contribute to cutting back on the pollution that causes global warming. See the light. Use new energy-saving compact fluorescent light bulbs. They produce the same amount of light as older incandescent bulbs, but they use 25% less electricity and last much longer. Cut back. Try to reduce the amount of water you use for showers, laundry, and washing dishes, and turn the temperature on your hot water heater down. Recycle. Use products that are recycled from old paper, glass, and metal to reduce energy waste and pollution by 70 to 90%. And before you toss things in the garbage, think about what you can reuse. Think local. Shipping foods over long distances is a waste of energy and adds to pollution. In addition, the pesticides and chemicals used to grow them are bad for the environment. So buy locally grown fruits and vegetables instead. Speak out. Talk to lawmakers about your interest in curbing global warming. Support their attempts to improve standards for fuel efficiency, to fund renewable and clean energy solutions such as wind and solar power, and to protect forests.
The expected effects of global warming? An increase in floods, droughts, tornadoes, and other extreme weather conditions. A rise in sea levels, causing flooding in coastal areas. Higher sea surface temperatures, endangering sea life. The shrinking of glaciers, leading to a decrease in fresh water for rivers and less energy production. A loss of tropical forests, an increase in arid lands, more forest fires, and a loss of animal and plant species. A decrease in agricultural yields, leading to famine.
Page 120. Review. Exercise A. Listen to the conversations. Write the type of place each person is talking about.
Choosing words from the box.
Then check whether or not the person recommends going there. Conversation 1.
Have you ever gone to Morton's Pass?
Oh, yeah.
I heard it's a pretty nice canyon to visit. How far is it?
Oh, I'd say about 50 miles south of the city.
Would you recommend it?
Well, if you ask me, it's a little overrated. I'd pick something else to see instead.
Thanks for letting me know.
Conversation 2.
Terry tells me that you've been to Bashbish Falls.
Did she tell you that?
Yeah, I'm thinking of going next week. I love waterfalls. So what do you think? Is it worth it?
In my opinion, it's a must-see. You'd be crazy not to go.
Really?
Conversation 3.
Have you ever been to Treasure Island?
A bunch of times. Why?
Well, I'm wondering if it's worth a trip. I'm not sure if I'd like being on an island.
In my opinion?
Yes, I'd love to hear your opinion.
You don't want to miss it.
That's all you have to say?
That's all I have to say.
Conversation 4.
So in the last days of my vacation, I'm thinking of spending some time in Pipo Valley. Tom told me it was spectacular.
Oh, yeah?
What do you mean, oh yeah?
Well, if you ask me, I'd say it was a waste of time.
You've been there?
I've been there. There's Mount Pi on one side and Mount Po on the other side.
And?
I still don't think it's worth it, but to each his own.
Top-notch pop song, It's a Beautiful World. To read the lyrics and sing along, turn to the end of this book.
Is located half an hour west of here. I heard it's a must-see and that it goes pretty near to a breathtaking beach a little farther up the coast. That's the one that everybody seems to like the most. It's a beautiful world. Be careful as you go. The road is dark and dangerous. Be sure to take it slow. Yes, it's a beautiful world. From the mountains to the seas. Through life's lonesome valleys, won't you come with me? Are you planning on going to see the waterfall? I've been thinking about it, and and I wanna do it all. Would you happen to know anything about Rocky Cave? How do you get there? Can you show me the way? It's a beautiful world. Be careful as you go. The road is dark and dangerous. Be sure to take it slow. Yes, it's a beautiful world. From the mountains to the seas. Through life's lonesome valleys, won't you come with me? I can't wait, I don't wanna miss it. There isn't a place worth seeing that I don't want to visit. It's a beautiful world, be careful as you go. The road is dark and dangerous, be sure to take it slow. Yes, it's a beautiful world, from the mountains to the seas. Through life's lonesome valleys, won't you come with me?